The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Gino is back. Eugene is the quarterback of the New York Jets. And man, many are saying the March for Arch is officially on.
Wish you could have been a Jet, Fernando.
Let's see what happens.
What's your message to the Jet fans in New York?
J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. This is going to be some show. Never thought in a million years we'd be talking about Geno Smith returning to the Jets, but that is indeed the case. We're presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Before we get started, smash the like button, even if you're disgusted with the Geno Smith decision by the New York Jets, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We talk Jets for 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and of course, we give you a Saturday and a Sunday show. So, with that said, let's talk about the news. Geno is back. The Jets, instead of signing Geno Smith, Darren Muji orchestrates a trade with the Raiders, who were going to release their quarterback, Geno Smith. So the Jets, the official details of the trade, they are sending a 2026 sixth-round pick in exchange for Geno and a 2026 seventh-round pick. Now, the Jets are taking on Geno's contract. Not so fast. New reporting out there, according to Adam Schefter, before the trade was agreed to, Geno Smith agreed to restructure his contract. The Raiders will still pay the bulk of it, and the Jets will take on Smith's contract at just over the veteran minimum. So the Raiders are paying Geno Smith to not play for them, and instead of just outright releasing him, Darren Muji and John Spytek, the Raiders general manager, they have a good relationship, and thus, rather than just release Geno, the Raiders are able to move up a full round in the draft, getting a 6th for a 7. So does that matter in the grand scheme of things? No. Ultimately, Geno Smith agreeing to that restructure means he's not going to cost the Jets any money, which was the expectation the whole time, that he wasn't going to cost them any money in terms of this deal. And look, here's the reality for Geno Smith. Last year with the Raiders was an unmitigated disaster, but it was not just him. That was a situation that was completely dysfunctional. All right, Pete Carroll was completely checked out. He didn't have it anymore. That was obvious. He hired Chip Kelly. They paid him $6 million a year. He was the highest paid coordinator in the sport, and they fired him in week 10. Other than Brock Bowers, the Raiders had no weapons. They had the worst offensive line in the league. So it's very easy to explain away part of the issues that Geno had. What you can't explain away, though, is the fact that over the last 2 years, Geno Smith has thrown 32 interceptions, including a league-high 17 last year. Can Geno Smith play better with the Jets than what he showed with the Raiders? Yeah, I think he can. I don't think that's crazy. Is Geno Smith taking the Jets anywhere? No. He's 35 years old. He turns 36 in September. This is a tough sell for any Jet fan to rally behind Geno Smith. Some Jet fans who only see the positives in things will find a way. I can't do it. I got to be honest. I can't. Geno Smith coming to the Jets and having like this, ironically, the Ryan Fitzpatrick season that could have been Geno's year if he didn't get punched out by his own teammate. Is IK Mattapali coming back to the Jets too while we're on this? I just don't see Geno having enough in the tank to be able to do that. I don't. Now, would I love to be wrong? Absolutely. It'd be an amazing story if Geno, who got drafted by the Jets, comes back years later and he ends the playoff drought. Because the playoff drought, it didn't start technically with Geno, but that 2013 8-8 Rex season, that ended up being the beginning of the end because then they ran it back with Rex. Geno goes 3-10 the following year. Then the 2015 incident in training camp happens, and that was really the end of Geno, and the Jets have never really recovered from the John Izek and Rex pairing when either Rex and Tannenbaum should have stayed together or they both should have been fired and the Jets should have moved on. look, I'm not going to try and put lipstick on a pig. Geno Smith is not very good. Can he maybe be better this year? Again, I think there's a path for him to be a little better. I don't think he's, completely forgotten how to play the position. He's better than Justin Fields, but he threw 17 interceptions last year. And all you need to know about Geno Smith, he went 10-7 with Seattle in 2024, Mike McDonald's first season there, and they still got rid of him and replaced him with Sam Darnold. So it's just tough to truly be excited about this from a Jet perspective. Now, the big key is going to be what happens now, right? Because Geno Smith's not going to be the only quarterback they add, especially given the fact the Jets aren't paying him any money. He cost the Jets absolutely no capital whatsoever, right? They traded the 6th and got back a 7th. They're paying him no money. So they have money to now spend on a different quarterback. Is that quarterback going to be Carson Wentz? Are they going to flip a draft pick to get Derek Carr and have a true quarterback battle between Geno and Carr? Could Kirk Cousins get in the mix? Doesn't sound like it, which is baffling to me, but that's a whole nother conversation we can have later on as we analyze this move. Could Jacoby Brissett be in play? Reports are they're going to keep him. Well, could the Jets flip a 4th compensatory pick, 4th rounder, and get Brissett and have a true quarterback battle? Is the plan, hey, we're going to take Ty Simpson at 16? I still don't think that's their plan at this point, but they're going to add someone to that room in the draft. Could be on day 2 with their 2 seconds. Maybe Ty makes it to 33. Maybe it's a different quarterback we're not talking about. But the bottom line is Geno's the first of what I believe will be at least 2 more meaningful additions. 1 in the veteran market and then 1 in the draft. But again, it's just tough to sit here and try and talk people into Geno Smith. I think if you're a Jet fan trying to do that, you're being dishonest with yourselves. If you want some positivity, I will, of course, find positivity because that's what I do. Geno Smith helped bring Sam Darnold to Seattle. Geno Smith helped tank the Raiders to Fernando Mendoza. And maybe a year from now, Geno Smith will help the New York Jets march for Arch. By the way, I've already sold 3 T-shirts since Geno Smith signed with the Jets, since the Jets traded for Geno Smith. JakeAsman.com if you want to get your shirt. But I don't know how any Jet fans going to be pumped about this. The options weren't great. It's just tough to sell yourself on Geno. And again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Geno's awesome and he proves us wrong. Here's me high-fiving Geno before a game in 2013. All right, I used to like Geno. I supported him. I'm going to support him because he's the Jet quarterback. Maybe we'll recreate this photo at some point this year. I'm even wearing my old school Jet logo, which feels weird calling it old school, T-shirt here, because I'm trying to find some ways to support this move. But I just don't think Geno Smith's very good. Again, I spoke with one of my good friends who's a diehard Raiders fan who said, look, Geno was bad, but it wasn't just him. It was dysfunctional, all this and that. And it's true, it was. But there's a couple of alarming statistics with Geno Smith. On plays when he was throwing to guys wide open, he had the highest interception rate in the league. So when guys actually were open and he was protected, he just wasn't accurate last year. And his numbers have dipped now 2 straight years, and he's getting older. Again, he'll be 36 when the season rolls around. It's just tough to sit here and truly buy Geno Smith as the guy. Now that you have Geno, though, what's the pivot? Can they acquire a quarterback with some upside? And look, it might be false hope, but wouldn't you feel a little better about the quarterback room if they acquired Will Levis or Tanner McKee or Spencer Rattler, right? Like if they signed Carson Wentz, what is that doing? Then you really have nothing if you're a Jet fan. If they acquire someone who's an unknown that's probably bad, but we don't know for sure, at least you have something. Like I'm trying to give us something because the reality is the only people who are going to be watching Jets football this year, once they get off to a bad start, if that happens, are going to be the diehards. And all the casual fans are going to be waiting for the draft in 2027. And that's a depressing way to have to be a fan of your team. Feeling like that you're just basically going through the motions for a year. And Glenn is not going to do that. Muji's not going to do that. He's not guaranteed to be here. I think he's safer than Aaron Glenn at this point. But, like, that's how it feels from a fan perspective. These guys are going to try and win games and save their job. But does anyone actually think Geno Smith is going to save people's jobs? Like, seriously, the Jets bring back Geno. The first interception he throws, you could already see all the jokes that are going to be made online. Back like he never left. Like, you just already know what's coming. And, like, would it be awesome if Geno could have this, like, renaissance year? Again, ironically, we're looking for him to have the Ryan Fitzpatrick 2015 season. But, like, does anyone actually think that happens? Again, I want to be wrong and save the tape and show it to everyone around the Jets and let them make fun of me, all that. But it's just like, I got to be honest. I got to keep it real with the 900 people watching live and thousands after the fact. Like, does anyone actually think this is going to work? That's why I hope that they could at least bring in someone with maybe some semblance of an upside to be the backup. Even Derek Carr would have some semblance of an upside. He wasn't a bad quarterback a couple of years ago. Now, I have major concerns about his health and his shoulder and missing a year, but at least like get me someone else in the room that I could have something to point to if it doesn't work with Geno. Carson Wentz is not that guy. And it sounds like Wentz is going to be the guy they're targeting based on some of the reports that are now out there. Unreal. But this trade's official. Geno Smith was already in New Jersey today. He was at the Jet facility. He took a physical. We actually had a caller who spotted Geno Smith at a medical place that was adjacent to the Jet facility, apparently, on my first stream this morning. So, look, Geno's a Jet, and we got to root for him. But, again, the positive is Geno helped the Seahawks get Darnold. He helped the Raiders seemingly get Mendoza coming up next month. Maybe he helps the Jets get their long-term answer at the quarterback spot as well. But, again, 35, soon to be 36-year-old Geno Smith, who's thrown 32 interceptions the last 2 years. I can't sit here and be gung-ho about this. I now want to see what the pivot is for their back. But again, we knew the options weren't great. And the one positive of Geno, he's not costing you any money. I know they acquired him via trade, but based on the salary cap restructure that Geno agreed to, the Raiders are basically paying Geno Smith's contract. So the Jets take on Geno's deal at just over the minimum. And that's kind of where we're at. A little depressing if you're a Jet fan, but we kind of got rumblings that it was headed this way over the last few days. So ultimately, as we sit here right now, I kind of have a feel how the fan base is feeling, but we'll take plenty of your calls. I want to hear from you. Emergency live stream. The Jets and Geno Smith are having themselves a reunion. Geno back to the Jets. ESPN photoshopped him in the new uniform. I mean, I know there's a ton of Jet fans who still probably have their Geno jerseys from years ago. So there you go. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Let me share the raffle prize. We'll raffle this away at the end of the show. We're going to give away a signed Wayne Corbett jersey for any Jet fan who enters the raffle, and he has Maniac out there. Send in a gifted membership, and you'll qualify, or send in a super chat $10 or higher, and you will have a chance to get 2 raffle tickets with that. And when you enter our raffle at the end of this breaking news stream, you're also qualified for our weekly Friday raffle featuring a signed Joe Namath helmet, Joe Klecko signed helmet, and a Garrett Wilson signed helmet. And here's the thing with Garrett Wilson now I want to talk about in relation to Geno Smith. They better feed him. They better give him his targets. He better put up his numbers. The last thing the Jets need is this season goes so far off the rails. Garrett's finally like, I've had enough, and he requests a trade. And while I don't know if that means they definitely would move him, if that's the case, Garrett is all in. He's defending the Jets. Like, you want to win something with this guy while he's here. And while I don't think the Jets are going to be very good this year, like, you don't want to just be awful immediately. Like, again, can you be scrappy? Can you be competitive? The defense should be improved. The head coach has superpowers, and you added some talent to it. You're going to add Arvar Reese, I believe, at pick 2. You got 3 other picks in the top 44 after that. Like, this team is not completely bereft of talent. I have major questions about the head coach. How could you not? The offensive coordinator might be, past his prime, but Frank Reich's at least a pro. Can you design a competent offense? Like, we should have some games where the Jet quarterback passes above 100 yards. Like, again, I don't think Geno's very good, but like, can we at least be watchable? Like, again, I spend 4 hours a day talking about this team. You all diehards are tuned in right now. Can we get something? Even if it's like fake good. Like Salah's team in year 2 was 6-3 before they fell apart. 7-4 before they lost 6 straight. I don't know if Glenn's going to be able to see 3 games above 500. He's hitching his wagon to Geno. Again, what's the plan now? Is it Ty Simpson? Is it going to be like a veteran with some upside maybe? Is the QB2? There's got to be something. Pain, man. Pain. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We're going to get to plenty of your calls. We also have a little ASMANIAC madness coming up. A little breaking news ASMANIAC madness battle coming your way. We got a good one today. This afternoon, you'll have a chance to vote either the 5 seed Peter Castro or the 12 seed Craig from Australia into the round of 32. A great battle on our first show today. David T defeated Josh to advance to the round of 32. So get your votes in. When I open up poll voting, we'll get to that coming up. But if you're new to the show, click the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're going to be joined by some special guests on this live stream. I got some text out to some people to have them come on the show. people this audience knows very well. So we were supposed to go live in the 4 p.m. hour, and we went live at 2:30 Eastern, given the fact Gino is back. High fives for Eugene, who's back in town. Black Gypsy with the first super chat. He says, this franchise is a joke. Can't take them seriously. FML. Latriva says, back to where it all started. Gino can run a pro-style offense. He's matured in how to be a pro. Good bridge QB. JETS. Jets, Jets, Jets. I hope. But didn't Geno Smith give middle fingers to the Raiders fans walking off the field after one of their games last year? Pretty contentious at times with Gino in the New York media. Now, he was a lot younger then, and guys do mature, and I give him the benefit of the doubt and all that. We'll give him a chance. Remember, he played for the Giants as well. Like everyone in this town that covered football dealt with Geno Smith. You wonder how that's going to play if he struggles and the team doesn't win. Again, Fields quit on the team, right? He had a ruptured mangina, and then he just said, I'm done. I'm quitting. We never heard from him again. Like, Geno Smith's a lot more vocal than Justin Fields. He's a lot more online than Fields. Fields, like, not on social media, he claims. Geno is. I just wonder how that goes. Beastbreaker spending some big bucks here. Says, can we bring back IK, Emanipoli? Man, poor Geno. That's never going to leave him. And, like, I'm amazed Geno wanted to go back to the Jets. I get it. It's his best chance to start, but there's just a lot that comes with being the Jet quarterback, and he knows. Maybe he feels like he has unfinished business. I don't know. I've actually heard Geno's a good guy. I've interviewed former teammates of his, and we've talked about that 2015 year. I've had Willie Colon on the show talking about that, but it's just tough to picture this working out. I just got to be honest. I hope I'm wrong. Or this year gets us what the Raiders just went through, the number 1 pick, and we're marching for Arch or whoever the top quarterback is. Ben with a super chat. Geno's awful. I hate this move. Mike says jawbreakers in the next raffle. God. Joe, the Jets says, I'm telling everyone that the Jets are doing what the Giants did last year. They're taking Ty. They could. I don't know if they take Ty at 16. Could the Jets trade back into round 1 and get him? Yeah, I think they could. I think the team to watch is Arizona. Arizona has pick 3. They won't take Ty there, I don't believe. But Arizona's got the 34th pick of round 2. The Jets have the 33rd pick, the first pick of the second round. What if Arizona is threatening to trade back in to get Ty? Do the Jets do it to beat them to the punch if they really want Simpson? Because what has Arizona done at quarterback? Gardner Minshew, and they're going to keep Brissett. They're in the mix for Ty if LaFleur likes them. Curly says, do you think Geno Smith figured out time zones yet? I just can't believe we're doing the Geno Smith thing. To bring him back to Mario Davis, Geno Smith, Frank Reich, because we got Jets of all different eras on this team. Glenn, Reich, Geno, Demario Davis. Nick Folk was our kicker last year, yet we didn't keep the best one of all these guys. Nick. And being a fan of this team is something, huh? I don't know why we do it. AP Carlos writes in. This is our guy, Carlos the Barber. Jake, Geno will be fine. It's coaching. Well, don't worry, Eugene. All right. You got just the guy ready to coach your ass up.
Coaching. It's coaching. Because he can do it. It's just coaching. That's all it is.
Frankie Castle writes in. Geno's bad. Pair him with Carr and Levis. Behind a good O-line and some weapons, it could be a 9-win season. I'd rather have Geno than Wentz. You're all over the place, Frankie. On one hand, you're saying Geno's bad, but now you're saying if you pair him with Carr and Levis, the Jets are going to win 9 games. They haven't won more than 7 since the last time, ironically, Geno was on the team, the 2015 year with Fitz. Maybe they needed Geno to win more than 7 games. Maybe I had this all wrong. Chad writes in, could be worse. I mean, honestly, if they started Brady Cook for 17 games and guaranteed the top pick, would that not be better? It will never happen. These guys have jobs. They're trying to save it. But, like, are the Jets better off winning 6 games, or are they better off winning 2? If we're being honest, we know the answer, but no one will actually say it publicly. And that's just not how NFL teams operate in March. There's just too much on the line. Benji in the raffle for 2. Thank you, Benji. He says, as a longtime Jet fan, Jake, I hope you're wrong about Geno, but man, it's tough. Again, like, people think I'm a hater. I'm too negative. You've been watching my show longer than a year. I used to be called a homer. I'm too positive. I keep it real. And my opinions evolve with new information. I'd love to be wrong. I just don't think Geno Smith's any good anymore. So 32 picks the last 2 years. He's an older player. Again, maybe it clicks. No one had the Fitz year happening. That's kind of what we need. It's ironic that we're referencing the Ryan Fitzpatrick year, and the only reason why that year happened is because the guy the Jets just traded for to be their QB1 got punched by his own teammate a decade ago. Crazy. Mike DeRamo in the house in the raffle for 2. He says, Jake, these go to the guy who called in and called Geno to the Jets. I know a lot of us were like, yeah, right. Here's the thing, though. The guy who called in, I think his name was Air Jet, and said he saw Geno Smith at whatever medical facility that was getting his physical. Well, he could get credit for that, sure. It was already rumored that Geno was going to be the Jet pick. It was just, does he sign at 401 tomorrow when it's official, the new league year? But the Raiders never released him officially. And you see why. They were able to get, a pick swap for him instead. Please, someone do something. Says, keep IK and Menopoli away from him. Again, this is just going to follow Geno everywhere, man. And again, it'd be an amazing story if Geno could prove everyone wrong. It really would. I'm rooting for him. Joe the Jet says, the Jets are partying like it's 2013. That's right. High fives for Geno. This was the game the Jets beat the Browns to get to 7-8 on the year. They beat the Dolphins the last game of the year to finish 8-8. It was the best coaching job by Rex Ryan in his tenure. That team sucked. That team won 8 games. It was rookie year Geno Smith. And many are saying that the high five that Geno gave to Jake Asman before that game propelled the Jets to finish 8-8, and for Rex Ryan to get a Gatorade bath after doing such a thing. Only the Jets. Frankie says the bar is so low, maybe this works. Is he better than Fields? Yes. If that's your bar, then okay. Mickey writes, and I can't stand this team. Last year, Fields was the QB I wanted. This year, Geno was my last choice. It's April and the season's over. Let's be real, though. Unless they signed Kyler or maybe Cousins, or they made a trade, I guess, for Mac Jones, which I was against. I didn't want to trade a second for Mac. It would be tough to find a quarterback that would, unite the fan base. Unless they somehow, were able to make a deal with the Raiders and got Mendoza. And even then, some wouldn't like it, but you'd come around to support it because, all right, what are you going to do? They made the deal. You got to support them. Dom says, trade for Jameis. Dom, I would trade for Jameis in 2 seconds. I don't know why the Giants would make him available. You see the way Dart plays? They kind of need a good backup there, don't they? And Jameis is a good backup. Jameis would be perfect for what the Jets needed as a bridge. Because here's the thing with Jameis. If the Jets are going to be bad, could we at least be entertaining? Can we score points? If we're going to lose, can we be competitive? Jameis at least would do that. Maybe Geno could do that too. I don't know. I just don't think Geno's that good. Snoopy says the March for Arch is alive and well. Oh, yeah.
Good job.
JakeAsman.com. You buy a shirt when I'm live on the air, we'll shout you out. We'll give you 5 raffle tickets too. Sean the Mailman says March for Arch is on. JakeAsman.com. Print the shirts, baby. I was going to wear mine today, but mine's in the laundry. So we also are selling Tank for Arch shirts. So if you want those, you can get those as well. We're selling, actually, someone suggested, a listener, to sell Tank for Arch shirts in the store, tank tops. So we have actual tanks in addition to the shirts. Again, this started off as a bit, but now it kind of feels like reality. But let's see. They've improved the team. And if they're going to be better coached, they shouldn't be picking 1-1. But, it's a tough sell right now for the Jet fan. Hey, before we open up poll voting, if you're a Jet fan, the draft is going to be fun. It's usually when we have the most fun, draft night. I'm hosting a draft party in Pittsburgh at McFadden's. If you're a Jet fan, the draft is free to attend. You just get tickets to the NFL for free. And guess what? All day long, we're partying right next to the draft, right down the street from where all the festivities are at McFadden's in Pittsburgh. It's going to be a blast. If you want to join, click the RSVP link in the description. It's free, and we're going to have quite the turnout of Asmaniacs there.
Draft Day 2026 live from Pittsburgh. Jets Nation on the clock. Gangrene take Fat McFadden's. Day and night draft party hosted by the Jake Asman Show.
Thursday, April 23rd, doors open at noon.
Let's go! Yeah!
There you go. Let's go, baby. It's all happening. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. If you're one of the 1,200 people in here live right now, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We talk Jets every day. Let's open up poll voting as Maniac Madness continues. There'll be a lot of votes in this one since it's breaking news. Your choices today, the 5-12 battle, Peter Castro or Craig from Australia. You pick who advances to the next round in the greatest tournament to ever do it. Asmaniac Madness. We're right now making our way through the inside-outside region. The winner will face David T. Ladies and gentlemen, voting for Asmaniac Madness is underway.
Who's gonna be the best of the bunch? Asmaniac Madness. You get to pick the ones that make the show rock. I'm legit. As a Jew.
Oh, yeah. Vote. And your vote determines who moves on. All right, I'm going to get to your calls coming up. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in. Let me get to a couple more super chats, and then we will hear from you. Niall says, a big FU to AVT signing with New England. This is a disaster. Can we please sign Kyler Murray? Please, football gods, please. All signs point to Murray going to Minnesota. Again, I'm with you. I'd rather Murray than Geno because both cost nothing, and Murray's better in 28. On that note, let me say this. AVT signing with the Patriots, the money he got is crazy. But don't you feel like he's now going to magically be healthy? That's what sucks. Like, it just stinks he went to New England. I'd love to root for him if he went to a different team, but you can't go to the Patriots. So as far as me rooting for him, that will never happen. Now, I'll never root for a guy to be injured, but that will never happen. I will not root for AVT. I mean, it just sucks. Oz writes in, change of name for the season, the New York Tanks. I might need to get like a tank button. Tank sound effects. Ugh. It's tough, man. It's a tough sell. Again, Geno Smith was not good last year. We don't need to pretend otherwise. Again, there's reasons, there's ways to explain what happened. The Raiders were a mess. Still threw 17 picks. Still threw 15 the prior year. They moved on from him. Like the Seahawks are one of the smartest front offices in the league. They saw the decline. They knew. Spencer Green, all caps. They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though. Gino running back now. Call me crazy, but let's go. What a story. LFG, negativity does nothing. Let's go. Is it negativity or is it being real? Is it being honest with the audience? Should I get on here and try and sell you, Spencer, that Gino's awesome? If you want that, there's other Jet content creators I'm sure who could spin this positively. I just got to call it for what it is. I hope I'm wrong. I just don't think Geno Smith's very good. And I think the Jets could have done better, even with their limited options. Ace of Spades says, can you do a film study show on Geno this year? Absolutely. We will have Joe Blewett on, and we will make it happen. Joe Blewett's going to join me today. He's trying to text me right now, but it's hard to text while I'm hosting a solo show doing some breaking news. So I got to respond to like a bunch of guests we're working on right now. We'll do that shortly. Roy writes in, getting Geno back is like striking out at the bar after last call and then sending a you up text to your ex. Yeah, if your ex was like a 6, though. Or like a 5, you know? You can get back into bed with your ex. Can she at least be attractive? Like, that's how you got to look at it, but nope. Jeffrey bought 5 raffle tickets. Thank you, Jeffrey. If you meant to attach a comment to this, I'll be on the lookout for it. But let's get to your call, shall we? A lot of you want in, rightfully so. Doug on the bed is first today. Hello, Doug.
Good afternoon, Jake. So here's my view on it. Is Geno Smith probably going to be good? No. But I think he's going to feed Garrett Wilson the ball, so he'll stay happy. And then what I want from the Jets for the rest of the offseason, I would love for them to trade 44 for Brian Thomas Jr. And then I want them to sign Ellington Jenkins, the Packers release, because you're not going to have him play center. You're going to have a guard where he's better. And then you have line figured out. And then if you want to draft a guy, an offensive lineman, an interior offensive lineman, I'm okay to do that with one of your fourths. But compared to what we had last year, we had a guy, Justin Fields, who you said tore his mangina, didn't want to play. At least Geno Smith, he knows how to throw a forward pass and isn't scared to throw a forward pass. And I think he can give you a little bit of the Jameis. He's not Jameis level, but he can give you the Jameis where he's going to throw the ball downfield. And I do think he's going to force Garrett the ball. So Garrett's going to get his catches, get his targets. And if this all blows up, like most people expect, everyone's gone anyway. And we'll have the pick to get whatever quarterback, March for Arch, whatever quarterback is a top quarterback we need. So I get why people are down on it, but like I see the Jets line of thinking, and it's at least it is a professional quarterback, which is more than what we can say we had in the quarterback room last year.
Look, he is a professional quarterback. That's a pretty low bar. Yeah, I mean, look, Geno will push the ball downfield. He'll hopefully throw a lot to Garrett Wilson, keep him happy for a year. It's a tough sell, man. It really is. Like, you got to be a real die-in-the-wool, diehard, positive Jet fan no matter what to try and sell yourself on this working out.
As of right now, as of today, I agree. But like, if they go get a Brian Thomas Jr. and they sign like a good guard, it gets a little bit better. But it's still a tough sell. But you said it. Raiders were a disaster last year. I think this year he does have like a better offensive line for sure, and he does have more weapons with Garrett and Brees just now.
They better add a guard. They better protect him. Geno Smith holds on to the ball for a long time.
I think
not like Fields, but he does.
I think if they don't sign Jenkins, they're going to draft the kid from Penn State at 16,
which I don't like, but that's besides the point.
But so that's another day for another. But yeah, so you get the guard in place, then you bring back. You have most of the offensive line of last year, 4/5 of the offensive line. You just put Ellington Jenkins there. That's, I think, a lot of Jets fans' preferred choice. You have a good offensive line again. You figure out the Brees stuff with the tag and everything. You have Garrett, and then, like I said, Brian Thomas Jr. is a dream. And then that leaves 16 open to still do whatever you want with 16 and still being forced to taking the guard, which I know a lot of people wouldn't like if you feel forced to take him at 16. So I want 16 to be the best player available pick, not, okay, we got to take this guy because this is where we are. We need to fill that roster spot.
Well said. Again, you got to be able to field a team before the draft and not make it obvious that you're taking the guard at 16 if that's their plan.
Yeah, because like I said, if you make it obvious, and there's going to be teams who try to trade up, try to jump you, and I don't want to use any 2027 assets to alter this draft because the 2027 assets, based on what everyone says, and like anyone who watches college football, are the more valuable assets that you can't give up. But again, for Muji, I think this at least another good sign of him being a GM. Just the trade worked out itself because like Connor Hughes was saying Geno Smith was going to have maybe other suitors. So this just ensures you have an actual quarterback on your roster, not Brady Cook, who would lose. Or I think they have Zappy on the roster. So you have someone right now who is an actual NFL quarterback. So I know that's setting a low bar, but at least we know he can throw a forward pass.
What a bar. Appreciate it, Doug. Bang Mateo says, our season's over before the draft, only the Jets. Mickey became a channel member. Let's jet to that one. Nate says, I just watched Rex's last game. Geno, perfect QBR in Miami, week 17, 2014. I'm all in. You know what's amazing about that game, too? It's the second straight year Geno ended the year in Miami with a perfect passer rating game. He was great the previous year, too. And in that 2014 game, I think Eric Decker set the Jet record for receiving yards in a game. It's like 214. I'm pretty sure it was that game. I don't know the exact number. Someone could check me in the chat, fact check me, but that was a Jet record in receiving yards that day. Alfredo writes in, Aaron Glenn knows his job is on the line. Right, so let's invest in Geno. Alfredo, I see you have a Raiders icon in your profile picture there. Can Geno deliver us the top pick? Nate has gifted a membership. He is in the raffle for
Jets, Jets.
Get ready for Ty Simpson, folks. I don't know if it's at 16, but I definitely could see a second round move. More of your calls right now. Michael Levinson is next. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Jake. Got my had it for a couple of weeks.
Well done.
Haven't wore it yet. I just got back from Boynton Beach, Florida.
If you put it on right now, I'll put you down in the raffle. Yeah, there it is. All right, here we go. The march is on.
Yeah, both my brothers are Giant fans, and I had it down in Florida. They said, "What are you doing?" I gotta tell you, I don't know. I think Glenn is just coaching for his job. I don't get this. When I was driving home and I heard the news, and all my friends were texting me, they traded for Geno $26 million. I mean, Michael K was going nuts. Chris Carton was going nuts, and then we find out that the salary's being eaten. Okay, but what is the alternative? Okay, I mean, Kyler Murray wasn't coming here, right? We agree on that?
Correct.
Okay, Cousins doesn't want to be here. Okay.
Well, I'm going to take the Jets at face value. The Jets said they're not interested, which I think is ridiculous, but go on.
Right, and I agree. But like we always said, in 2018, he used us. Now he wants to come back. Whatever. Okay, who knows what Cousins going to want? But I mean, is Wentz any better?
No, I don't want Wentz. I think I think if they get Carr as the backup and have a legit competition, all right, I'll be more open to it. They get Brissett, I'll be more open to it. It seems like they're going to go after Wentz, and that's going to be their number 2. I think a Geno Wentz quarterback room is terrible. You got to give us something better than Carson Wentz.
Yes. Listen. I don't care about the 6 for 7, 6-round picks, 7th-round picks are gambles anyway. So, but I just don't get the whole thing. And this is going to be jet-like. I'm telling you, Jake, this is going to be jet-like. Geno Smith's going to have the career year. We're going to win 12 games, and we're going to be out of picking a quarterback. That's what's going to happen because we're Jet fans, and it's Jets-like. Okay? I'm telling you, this is just, I liked everything they did up to this point, but, when I still look at the quarterbacks out there, it wasn't going to make a difference, was it, Jake?
I think there were better options, though, Michael, than Geno. I do. We'll see what the number 2 plan is. Geno Smith's going to be 36, and he's done 32 picks the last 2 years. That's the best we could do, really? I just think the Jets could have done a little better. But whatever. I mean, ultimately, I don't know if I could be excited no matter who they can add because I have major reservations about the head coach. It's him and Hugh Jackson who have ever fired both their coordinators after a year who won that many, those few games in year one. Usually, you win 3 games or less. You don't get to fire both your coordinators because you get fired. Omari says, Kirk Cousins disrespected us and he's ass. No, I'm not getting over him disrespecting us. Set the culture. Disrespecting us. He wanted more money. All right. He wanted to go to Minnesota. Oh, use the Jets for leverage. Great. You only know about it because he happened to have like a film crew filming that free agency for him. Free agents do it all the time. I can easily get over it if I'm trying to actually win. And he's, to me, the best of the options. The best bridge. Signed him to a 2-year deal. He's playing the McCown role. He's the guy for this year. He transitions to being the starter / mentor to whoever they draft. Bang says Glenn's in self-preservation mode to save his ass. Well, yeah, I mean, he has to try and save his ass. Abdul Jacob says this trade makes no sense. Jake, why are we trading for a player we could have got for nothing? People need to understand the Jets traded for Geno, but he redid his contract with the Raiders before the deal. The Raiders are paying the bulk of the salary. The Jets are getting Geno for essentially the minimum. People think trade. Oh, what are they doing? They're going to cut him. You guys think Muji's that dumb? He's not. All right. They got Geno for nothing. That's why I'm talking about what's their plan for QB2. It's tough to be excited about Geno, but you swing a trade for, Tanner McKee or Levis or Spencer Rattler or someone who maybe is an unknown, probably bad, but there's an upside. Like that gives you something to grab onto. More of your calls right now. Let's say hello to Bob up and down. Hello, Bob.
Hey, Jake. I'm just going to make a case. We're going to take Ty Simpson at 2, and this all makes sense. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. We fired our entire offensive staff, running Frank Reich. We tanked our entire season. We didn't do that to draft a defensive end or a linebacker.
They did it for Mendoza, and they got beat out by the Raiders by strength of schedule percentage points. Or Dante
yeah, but
Moore,
we're
who went
in
back
this
to school.
position now.
Yeah, but you don't take a quarterback at 2. He's not going to, Bob. He won't. 16, he
he's
could.
not going to be there at 16.
And they're not going to take him. Then they won't take him.
Yes. Well, what makes you think we're going to get a quarterback next year? We might have 3 picks that are 16 or below.
What do you mean? What makes me think they're going to get a quarterback next year? You think they acquired 3 first-round picks to not take a swing at quarterback at some point?
So you're going to take all 3 first-round picks and hope you have a suitor at the top of the draft that's willing to trade with you.
Or what if they stay exactly where they are with one of these picks and just pick a quarterback when there's more than one that will be available in the first round next year?
Who says they're going to be any better than Ty Simpson? None of these guys that are in this draft
no one knows.
are superstars.
I'm playing the odds, though, Bob. If you play the odds are next year's class will be better than what we got this year, where there's not even a clear number 2 quarterback. You say, yep, you've definitely taken the first round. People don't think Simpson is a first-round player. Not everyone does.
Listen to these people. Don't listen to these people. They don't know what they're talking about. He's a better prospect.
Goodbye. You're suggesting they take him at 2, so I don't think you know what you're talking about because that's not how teams operate. They're not going to take him at 2. Chef Brian is next. Hello, Chef.
Hey, Jay. Finally, man, I get to talk to you. I was first of all, man, Muji did a great job. He did a fantastic job. He's cooking with freaking hot grease, man. This guy that just called, yeah, I don't think the Jets definitely won't take him at 2, but they'll try something later on in the round in the first round. And then what was I gonna say? The Geno doesn't have to be crazy, man. He doesn't have to be He doesn't have to go crazy. That Raiders team last year was absolute garbage. We have a better offensive line.
Chef, we lost you. Bad connection. Keep it rolling. Doc Jet fan is next. Hello, Doc.
Hey, Jake. Thanks for taking the call. First, I just want to say thanks to Kyle Clifton. When one of your peers that calls in has nice words to say about you, it means a lot because his calls are on a different level than everybody else. So I want to thank him and appreciate him. Now, as a medical doctor, I want to treat you for post-traumatic Geno disorder because I've been waiting 2 months to find a point that I disagree with you. And this is one of them. And I'll tell you why.
You talk me into Geno. I'm excited about this.
Okay. And again, I am never been accused of being optimistic. So, I'm not that fan. But you have been benchmarking Ryan Fitzpatrick's 2015 season as that would be a good bridge for the Jets. The Jets were in contention for a playoff spot that year. His roster around him wasn't great. That year, he completed 59% of his passes, threw 31 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, threw for 3,960 yards. Throw out the year that Geno had for Vegas last year. Because number one, they had Chip Kelly as their offensive coordinator. They had no line. So do me this of just let that go year. His last 3 years at Seattle, he completed 70, 65, and 70% of his passes. He threw for 4,300 yards, 3,600 yards, and 4,320 yards. Yes, he turns the ball over too much. There's no question about it. But he was 30-11, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 20-9, and 21-15 his last 3 years. All of those years, his quarterback rating were far better than Fitzpatrick's on the Jets 2015. They're paying nothing for this guy. Why? If you use Fitzpatrick as a benchmark, why is this not good enough?
Just that 1 year from Fitz is the only benchmark I'm using, and because it was never the same after that. He gave you the lightning in the bottle year, and then he was terrible in 2016, and that was all she wrote. Again, Geno's had a better career than Fitz. If you look at the 2022 through 2024 3-season run that he had, I have a tough time picturing Geno Smith now another year older, coming off 32 total picks, being good with the Jets. Is he better than what they've had? Sure, but I think it's a pretty low bar.
Jake, you're looking for a bridge quarterback. I'm more concerned of what kind of mentor that he could potentially be to a guy they draft this year or the following year. Look, you know what? Here's where I'm willing to give the Jets benefit of the doubt, which is hardly ever, is that Reich and Muji, having played the position, I think they know quarterbacks. They know them better than me. That's for sure. I'm not, there were no, grade A quarterbacks available. I think Geno, I think Geno's going to be good enough for what they need him to be until they ultimately, none of this matters till they find the right quarterback in the draft. So that's that. When you mention Jameis Winston, you can't criticize Geno for throwing the ball away if you're interested in Winston.
Oh, I want entertainment, Doc. I don't think this team's going to be very good.
Well, is Jameis right then? You're just a fan? No.
I mean, Jameis at least would put up some points. He might throw a lot of picks, but what? He's an entertaining player to watch. The one start he had against the Lions last year with the Giants when Dart was out with the concussion was awesome. For anyone who watched that game, they almost upset Detroit. When Jameis played against the Packers this year, he still could sling it. Geno was just it was a mess. And ultimately, I guess am I going to be that upset over Geno for the year? No, because I just don't have high expectations for this team anyway. I don't believe in the coach, which is the biggest problem. And their long-term answer is probably playing college football in all likelihood in 2026. So people have asked me, what are my thoughts? It's as someone who does a talk show, I can't be yeah, I think this is going to be a great move. I just don't think he's very good. I hope he proves me wrong. But at the end of the day, I think they're drafting a quarterback in 2027 and probably will have a new head coach when that happens as well.
Just please look at this for what it is. It's just a bridge. It gives him a shot. Maybe he'll keep Garrett happy. By the way, another point, Decker had 221 yards that game. Maynard had 228. Wasn't a record.
Okay, so just short of the record. Good job by you.
It was just short. And third place was also Maynard at 212 yards. This just in from Adam Schefter, though. I don't know if you heard, to bring back Lance Mel to play the Mike linebacker.
Bring back Kyle Clifton at that point.
I love Lance Mel. He's one of my favorites. Thanks for the time, Jake.
Doc, great call. I hope you're right. I hope Gino's the perfect bridge. Gino's excited about being a Jet. This was his comments to Ian Rappaport. Text from a pumped-up Jets QB Geno Smith. Complete full circle moment back to where it all began. I'm excited to connect with my new teammates and coaches and everyone in the building, as well as build a new relationship with the fan base and community. You know what's kind of funny, too? Seth Ryan is the Jets pass game coordinator, so he'll be working hand in hand with Gino. Think about that for a moment. Rex and Gino did not get along at the very end. Rex publicly bashed him in some interviews, and Gino took offense to it. I remember there's a whole Twitter comment that Gino responded to on that. Now Rex's kid is coaching Gino, so funny how these things work. Sean writes in, Jake, what seed am I? Sean, check the bracket. You're in the raffle for 2, though. Benjamin says, Gino going to ball out. Gino, be back to top 10. Ladies and gentlemen, smile and wave. This man is on drugs. Smile and wave. This man is on drugs. Smile and wave.
I mean, Black Bowers is definitely like the greatest player in the history.
Derek the Jet fan in the ASMANIAC raffle for 1. Thank you very much to Derek there. All right, let's see what we got here. Get to more of your calls shortly. Brian says, my bad, Jake. Mom called. I'll call back. Okay, Brian. Rick Kent in the house. Gino's a bridge to nowhere quarterback. Sean says Jake sniffs another 4 wins. I don't know what I'm sniffing yet. I'm going to wait. I sniffed 4 wins when they released Rodgers and then got suckered into Aaron Glenn's puffing his chest out, talking a big game all summer and up my win total to 6. And that was still way too much credit for my original 4. Benjamin says Gino straight fire with an O-line. Okay, I hope you're right. 71 says Gino's better than what's left out there other than Kyler. Be fair, he threw over 4,000 and over 3K on a horrible team. He'll hit 4K in 2026. Bank it. Do you actually believe that? You realize the barometer to throw for more than 3,000 yards in a 17-game season is nothing? Who cares? 3,000 yards, who cares? Bill in the raffle for 2. Jake, your caller from this morning was right about seeing Gino getting a physical today. Look at the Rossini tweet. I mentioned it earlier, Bill. Yep. Julio says Raiders O-line ranked 31st last year. Gino will be okay. I think people are discrediting the fact that, let me find the stat because Next Gen had it. On passes where Geno Smith had perfect protection and was throwing the guys open, he threw more interceptions than anyone else in the league. So again, Gino's an upgrade over Fields. He's an upgrade over Brady Cook, over what Tyrod is. But man, it is a tough sell. Bronx Jet fan in the raffle for 1. Sean Bennett in the raffle for 1. Doc Jet fan, who had a great call just before, in the raffle for 1. For those tuning in late, which is probably a lot of you, breaking news, we are going to give away a signed Wayne Corbett jersey at the end of the show.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
We'll be joined by some special guests in this live megacast. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls right now. NYC restaurant guy joins us. What's up, NYC? A beautiful day in New York. I was walking Central Park earlier.
That's a perfect. I got to go do that. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I wanted to. I thought Doc had a great call. I agree with him. And to go against the stats, though, look, I think this is similar reaction to what we had when we hired Frank Reich, where we were like, oh my God, this guy's been in the NFL. Like, why are we taking him? Whatever. And then after a few days and we see what the other options are and we kind of settle down, we realize, okay, you know what, like maybe this could work. Again, we're not expecting Geno Smith to take us to the Super Bowl, but, to get a guy with a pick swap who fits the physical build that Frank Reich likes, like in his schemes, as well as someone that, everyone besides Kirk Cousins, all these quarterbacks that are available obviously didn't have a great year last year. And, Kirk didn't really give us a full season either. He looked good at the end of the year, but, Gino had no line, all these things. Again, I don't think he's going to be great, but Muji's, I'm impressed. I'm happy. And I think drafting some of the guys in the first round and not reaching for Ty Simpson and some of these people and correctly building the team will be to all of our benefit for the long term. So that's why I kind of hope it's Reese, because I think he's the younger guy that'll be around. But I don't know. I'm not too mad about it. I'm at first I had all my buddies texting me, making jokes. And then I was kind of like, you know what? If we had Kyler, I think we'd all know deep down it was not going to be good. It would be similar to Fields and just so I wasn't going to get too hyped about that. But I don't know. I think Geno Smith returning to New York, this could be a very funny year that I think the expectation is going to be so low that we'll probably surprise ourselves. That's the hope. Or
they're just going to be awful. This could either work or there's going to be awful. I don't think there's an in-between. Again, Geno Smith could bring us our next franchise quarterback, or he could be, he could be confident and maybe surprise us. I don't know if there's much of an in-between.
Definitely. And I think, too, the way that they were able to restructure the contracts, or the Raiders obviously did, but I'm sure, for us to trade, we needed that to be done. This isn't throwing money, chasing Kyler or chasing Kirk and paying them way too much because there's other suitors around. I think what they did with Minka and what they did with Gino was smart. But yeah, I'm kind of, I'm optimistic about it. I'm a guy who can sit in the pocket and I don't know, we'll see if we trade for Brian Thomas or whatever. I'd rather draft a receiver at 16 than, give up draft capital for someone that I don't know why the Jaguars don't want to keep him. I think that kind of makes it weird a bit, but I don't know. I'm a lot more impressed with how free agency has started and the moves that they've made. I thought I was going to be throwing random money around at certain guys, and I don't know, getting younger edge rushers and then getting the older veteran in Davis to fix the linebacking core and all that stuff. I'm excited for it. So we'll see where it goes, but appreciate all your coverage. You're all over this stuff, and it's awesome to be able to just get on YouTube and be like, oh, yep, Jake's on, and we're going to find out what the hell is going on. So appreciate you.
Appreciate you, NYC. Enjoy the weather today. It is beautiful outside. Nicest day we've had in forever. Bino says AG is going to unlock Gino. Coach him up from your lips to God's ears. More of your calls. Ladies and gentlemen, in action right now in Asmaniac Madness. I just saw he's on the line, so he gets to cut the line. Peter Castro, he needs your votes. He's up against the great Craig from Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Oh, shit.
Look at this guy in the hot tub, in the pool. What
Hey,
are we
Jake. I'm in the pool. This is what I think of Geno Smith. What a great pick. Jake?
Peter?
The Jets are going to drown the same way. They got to be kidding. They must be kidding. They got to get somebody else. We're marching for Arch. We got to do something because this is turning out to be a disaster. I hope they draft Kylan Green and Ty Simpson, one of them. Give us some hope. We have no hope at all. We have they're building the team with no quarterback.
Well, unfortunately,
Jake, can you
the
hear me?
quarterback, I hear you, Peter. The quarterback they're going to go after is probably in college football. And you pair that new coach with said quarterback in 2027, there could be better days ahead, but we got to get there first. And that's what's so discouraging. If you're a fan, you feel like you're not really looking at any sort of real season in 2026.
True. Season seems like a washout. I just want to thank any Agsmaniacs that voted for me, and good luck to Greg, and we'll see what happens.
Craig?
Jake?
Peter?
Greg.
What a battle.
Craig.
I called him Greg.
What a battle.
All the love, Peter. Enjoy the pool.
Greg.
Oh, shit.
All right, more of your calls here. Finn is up next. Hey, Finn.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, Finn?
Hey, I just wanted to say I agree with the Glenn statement. I can actually never see Aaron Glenn as a successful head coach for the New York Jets. I'm just waiting for the day where we get that hard nose, no bullshit. No fucking dancing down the sideline. Like, I hate to see it. I hate it all. It's not like we're winning a bunch of games every season, and I see Aaron Glenn dancing down the sideline against the Buccaneers, and it's like, what are we doing? But the one thing I am happy about, I am happy to get Geno Smith back a little bit, just for nostalgia purposes. Like I was like 11 when he was quarterback, and now I'm 20. So now I have a little more of a mind of like the game and just what's going on. So I'm gonna be I'm happy to see him back, and also
You
happy to
realize
get
his
Demario
first
Davis
stint
back.
with the Jets didn't go well, though.
I know it didn't go well, but in terms of nostalgia, I mean, it feels a little nice just to have him back. But also, like, I mean, like, what else do we got going for us? Like, I feel like you gotta like look at the positives of of something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could rely on the nostalgia from Demario Davis, but like Gino's a tough sell for nostalgia, man. I mean, he wasn't good. He was a turnover machine. He had a chance to actually show maturity and take over a really good team in 2015, and his own teammate punched him in the jaw, and he lost the starting job to a journeyman.
You know, that is true, but you know what? Like I said, I was only 11, so I don't.
Well,
all I know is we had Gino, and my dad was whatever about him, but now I get to see him back. So you know, it is what it is.
Finn, have you called before? I don't recognize the name.
No, it's my first time. It's my first time jumping on the stream. I like subscribed 10 minutes ago, but I've been a lifelong Jets fan.
Well, welcome aboard, man. I'm going to put you in our raffle. We're giving away a Corbett jersey at the end of the show. All first-time callers earn 2 raffle tickets, so appreciate you calling in.
Hey, no problem.
Finn checking in. How about that? He just subscribed 10 minutes ago. He's already calling in. This guy's been subscribed for a very long time. He's an OG of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Gus Buster Umbrella Hotline to weigh in on his thoughts on Gino's return is...
You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. I'm not saying that Lowski takes steroids. Give me some of it. Hey, Charles. Who is that lovely lady? Sing it this way, Charles.
Hey, Jake, how are you?
Hey, Charles.
Look, you know today's a special day for Nick Shine, right? Today's his 3-year anniversary, correct?
Yes.
And I'm sure you're going to be on there to support him, right?
Yes.
Look, as for my thoughts on the Geno Smith trade, I think it's a decent trade. I mean, look, I'm not really hopeful about the quarterback position considering the quarterback free agents aren't exciting to talk about. But it can't be. Look, I think last year was the worst quarterback season I've seen in my lifetime.
Your neck hair looks great, Charles.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I think I said last year was the worst quarterback season I've experienced watching the Jets throughout the course of my, let's see, I watched the Jets back in 2008, so it's basically been about, 17, 18 years now?
Sure.
So we shall see, man. We shall see.
Well, Charles, you enjoy the rest of your day, all right?
You too, man. God bless.
What are you having for dinner tonight?
I have no idea. That's a great question.
Any truth to the rumor you went to Applebee's yesterday just to get mozzarella sticks?
I went to a Buffalo Wild Wings, not Applebee's.
And you just wanted mozzarella sticks?
Yeah, just to hold me over.
Nice little afternoon snack?
Yes.
And how did that go?
Went great.
I'm happy for you and your family.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Charles, and I'm going to talk about Spider-Man and movies and sports and video games and maybe hot chicks.
Thank you, Charles. John is next. Hey, John.
Hey, how's it going, Jake? All right. I was able to pull this crap out of my closet.
Oh, wow.
From back in the day when I was first a season ticket holder back in 2014. So that was his first really bad year, if you remember that.
Yep.
Beat the Raiders in Carr week 1. Thought it was going to go great. Then you saw like Vic and Sims and all that. It's terrible. And here's my whole card just to show that I was there. Look, I think this is more of a bridge, not for the quarterback so much, but for the coaching staff, if that makes sense, right? Like, you have Frank Reich in there, who we know is only good with veteran quarterbacks, right? And Gino has proven in the past that he can be good. He was terrible last year, no question. Just throwing the ball, into interceptions and at a crazy high rate, considering turnover-worthy throws that were picked off was actually like one of the highest like in the league by far. So that's just really interesting there. But more importantly, it's a bridge for the staff to be retained after next season, if that makes sense, right?
Well, they're betting on Gino. They're betting on being able to take a guy that they think fits the play call and offense they're going to run, and they can win enough games to be here. I wouldn't have bet on Gino. I would have went in a different direction, but
There's no other option, though. That's the thing. Like, there really is no other option for that cheap of a deal because it's really just Bettman plus maybe like a little bit more. Like, that's the only way they can kind of get a quarterback that at least has an arm. And interestingly enough, like last year with the Raiders, right, his average depth of target was basically the lowest it was, right? He had nobody. Jacoby Myers got traded off midseason. He was never really a big throw to the tight end guy, if that makes sense. So Bowers became useless to him, right? And even Genty, like he was getting hit with contact 0.9 yards out. So like there's just nothing there. So I understand why he was bad last year. On top of that, he's had streaks of being really awful, right? But in the end, like it's just this, like they have an O-line, the Jets. And I would actually be surprised if they didn't go actually wide receiver at 2 at this point. I mean, they put it up. Yeah. Well, hear me out on this, or trade back a little bit more. At this point, they've addressed with enough rotational guys at edge, right?
John, what receiver would you take at 2 in this draft?
Tate.
You wouldn't take him at 2.
I wouldn't either, but like just
they're not going to. They're going to take the way they built the team. They're taking Arvell Reese or David Bailey. It feels like
I would think so too, but like I wouldn't be totally shocked. Maybe I should rephrase that if they just traded back a little bit for somebody that really wanted him and then go for Tate or something like that.
John, that is a completely different thing. You can't say they're going to take him at 2 and then they could trade back and do it. Sure, if they trade down, then anyone is in play at that point, but not at 2.
Probably, but like either way, like sorry, it's been a while since I've been on the mic. I mean, I quit my podcast after the turbulence because like it was just too much of a headache to even just go back to talking about Jets every week. I don't know how you do it. I mean, I guess the paycheck must be good, but like, my God, it's tough to talk about this team. And I had to quit mid-season last year, just like the Panther podcasters, who, by the way, I don't know if you remember, they quit like mid-season, and all of a sudden the Panthers started doing good, and they made the playoffs and all that. Those guys are soft compared to Jet fans if you really think about it.
Yeah, they don't know real pain, John. You're right about that. More of your calls. Derek's next. Hey, Derek.
Hey, Jake. How we doing, brother, man?
What's up, Derek?
Not much. Honestly, I don't know why everyone's so upset. Isn't this what we want? We wanted AG gone.
So you think this solidifies it? They're set. They're set to be terrible.
I think so. That's definitely not what AG envisions. He knows he has to win games, but I just reading the chat. I'm like, I figured everybody would be so much chipper today with the wanting AG gone, and now we can finally get our quarterback with our 3 firsts in 2027. I expected a lot more not frown faces in the chat today. It's kind of a surprise.
Well, I think most people want to have some hope before you go into tank mode. Like,
yeah,
the Jets. If the Jets lose week 1, then you'll have a lot of people like, here we go, the tank. But like, even the year they were supposed to suck for Sam, the 2017 McCown year, they were 3-2. They were 3-2. They lost week 1. They looked awful in Buffalo. I'm like, this team's gonna be awful. They actually started 3-2 that year.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. So I'm leaning towards you. Are you thinking that we're going to bring another veteran in to compete with Gino, or do you think we're just going to draft one and keep either Brady or Tyrod, or what are you thinking we do it for the backup right now?
It sounds like it will be Wentz based on the reporting, and Wentz would be the number 2 to Gino being the starter.
Ooh, interesting.
I vehemently disagree with that. I would go after a different quarterback besides Carson Wentz.
Yeah. So is that how it works? So until Kyler is released, is he not available, or you'll have to trade for him? But if they release him, will you have to trade for him, or you just sign him?
Kyler, you could just sign. He's going to go to the Vikings.
Okay. Yeah, I got him going to the Vikings too. I just wasn't for sure who you'd think we'd have competing for the veteran starting spot.
Kyler would not take a job with the Jets where he'd have to compete. He'd only would consider the Jets as if he's automatically handed the starting job. He's going to Minnesota because it's a great situation and he could beat out McCarthy in his mind, which he probably will.
Yeah. So is Wentz being linked to the Jets? You think you expect to sign him pretty soon?
Yeah, I think Carson. I don't know if it's going to be like today or tomorrow. I think Carson Wentz is going to be who they sign. I don't like it, but
yeah, not a great list of options. Sadly,
I would trade for Brissett again. I wanted Cousins all along. Oh, the Jets aren't interested in Cousins. That to me is an asinine. I flip a day 3 pick and get Carr and have Carr and Gino compete. Like just handing Gino the job off the year he had. Why?
Yeah.
Like make him earn the Baker Mayfield had to go and sing for his supper in Tampa and beat out Kyle Trask. Can we get a legit competition going?
Yeah, it's truly frustrating, brother. Yeah, I think that's all I got for you. I'll take the rest off call. I hope you and the rest of the ASMANIACs have a great day, guys.
Appreciate you. Good call, Derek. Let's see. Super chats cut the line, so get those in. Keep it rolling here. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline right now is another OG. Let me pull up his intro. I moved it to my back pages because it doesn't call as much anymore. Where's this man been?
It's time for another V-Man call. Hopefully you're not sleeping. Ay, caramba.
I didn't know that there were copies of people. I just thought
Hi,
everybody
Dick.
was.
What's up?
Hello, V-Man.
So I just face palm because my mother just figured out what OG meant.
Original gangster, Mama V-Man.
Hi, Jake.
Hello.
Yeah, no, I'm just outside enjoying this nice bit of weather.
You're hanging out with V-Mom outside?
Yeah.
And the dog.
Love that.
And the dogs are out here too. Yeah.
They're having a blast. What are their thoughts on Geno Smith?
It is what it is. You know, it's not like everyone said. It's not a great market for quarterbacks. You know, he's competent. You know, he's gonna be. You know what the floor is with Geno. It's like, and you know what your baseline is with Geno. The competent. He's, that's what it is. It's, like I said, he's not going to be, it's not going to be like excruciatingly painful like what we saw with Brady Cook or Justin Fields. But, it's still going to be probably very on the boring end of football watching.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty boring. I'll tell you that much. Unless Geno surprises us.
It does. Miracles can happen.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, no.
Enjoy the day, V-Man.
All right, I will. I'm gonna have a good day because I got my stuff on for tonight. Puerto Rico, Canada. If Puerto Rico wins, it gets the top seed out of Pool A.
Good time to plug a sponsor. Thanks, V-Man.
It's time for another V-Man call. Hopefully he's not sleeping. Adios mio.
We're brought to you by FanDuel, your WBC odds. The U.S. is the favorite, plus 100. Puerto Rico, the Fighting V-Mans, plus 1,700. So, V-Man, if you bet $100 on PR, you could win $1,700. Check it out. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Geno Smith did an interview with Josina Anderson. I'm trying to pull some of the clips. Looks like he was on for like 30 minutes. So I'm not going to play the whole thing. But Zach Rosenblatt is tweeting out some of the clips, or some of the quotes, I should say. And I'll read those to you guys before we get to the next call. Geno Smith on rejoining the Jets. Quote, "I'm so excited. It's a full circle moment for me. I can remember my last touchdown was to Quincy Enunwa right there at MetLife the day I tore my ACL. That began my journey and all led me back here where I started. Coach Glenn and I have been on the phone. He has a real plan. I believe in what they're doing over there. Just to be part of that is going to be special. It's kind of like a movie script. Geno said he could have stayed with the Raiders in a mentor role, but he still believes he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and he wanted the team that's going to believe in me and have my back. How ironic that it's going to be the Jets. Said he had other options he considered, but his convo with Aaron Glenn sold him. So if Geno Smith sucks, it is all squarely on the head coach. This was his decision. He's calling the defense. He picked Geno as his quarterback to try and save his job. It either works and Glenn is able to survive and get his pick in 27, or he's done. That's all you need to know based on those quotes there from Eugene Smith. More of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm Ricky, New York, and I love to smoke. Florida State, I really love Florida State. Jordan Travis, you know he's from Florida State. At any rate, I call into smoking debate. Florida State, I really love Florida State. At any great. Thanks for taking my call, Jake.
Hey, what's happening, Jake?
Ricky.
Man, I don't know. This was not the news I was hoping for, but at the same time, it seemed like the market was drying up really quick. The options were disappearing. So, I mean, if Gino can have a mediocre season, then I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You're
Like,
Mr.
you know where the
Positive.
ceiling
You're
is with it?
positive. Aaron Glenn's the best coach ever. Let's hear it.
Well, at the same time, we
can't lose Ricky NY. If we lose Ricky NY, we've really lost the fan base.
Well, no, I have confidence in Glenn, and the thing is, I think he will still be here next year, unless it's a complete disaster. I think he still will be here next year because what other quarterback options were there? Once we were out of the Mendoza thing, you got to have a quarterback, and there just wasn't one, of note that was really available to us. So I think he will still be here. Now, I do like, I do like the moves that they made, non-quarterback moves. It looks like we're putting a priority on stopping the run, which we should. I'm tired of getting gashed by other teams. And listen, if he can remake that defense and make that defense competitive, and maybe we're still losing games, but we're losing close games, and maybe then we can be back in that conversation where we're a quarterback away, and that quarterback will come next year. So yeah, I am, I'm still very hopeful for the future, but I'm also prepared to take some lumps this year in order to get there. Sometimes you got to go through some rough crap to get where you're trying to go. And I mean, good Lord knows we've been through it at time and again, it seems like. But you know what? I'm looking forward to this draft. I'm looking forward. By the way, I was listening to your show this morning, and good call out on the Wyatt Teller thing. Like I've been saying that for a couple of weeks, and I would be real happy with that signing, and that would be check off another box that we don't have to take care of in the draft. So, but yeah, I mean, listen, I'm sniffing 6 or 7 wins. I'm not going to go crazy, but I don't think it's going to be a 4-win season, but I think it'll be enough for AG to keep his job.
6 or 7?
Yep.
I don't know if 6 is enough for him to keep his job.
You know what? I think like I said, I think it depends how we lose too. If we're getting blown out, then yeah, that's probably going to spell the end for him. But I think because there are no quarterback options really, like I said, I think Woody knows that. And so I don't want to say Glenn's getting a pass this year because he's definitely not, but I think that'll be taken into consideration.
All fair, Ricky. I mean, how they start matters too. I have a tough time picturing this team winning 7 games with Geno Smith. NYC Restaurant guy says Penn State guard at 16 will set us up for any young QB we want in the future. Is guard at 16 really the best use of that pick, though? Right? Can you get a receiver there instead? Is there a stud defensive player that falls to you there? I mean, you could argue, okay, take Vega Ione because he's that good. I get that. I don't know. Maybe I have AVT fatigue. And AVT was good when he played. He just never played enough. All right, let's give some props to Air Jet because he called in this morning, was like, I saw Geno Smith leaving somewhere that was near the Jet facility. Well, it turns out he was right. Air Jet, congrats.
How you doing, Jake? My brother.
Now, where did you see Geno? Because he got a physical at the Jet facility, Diana Rossini tweeted. So where did you see him?
So it was a medical building right by the Jets facility. So I don't know how they do it. So a doctor told me that they come here to get the physicals. So I'm not sure if they do too. I don't know what the case is, but now I know that it's confirmed it was 100% Geno Smith.
That's right. He was in Jersey. He passed his physical, and now he's a Jet.
God,
and you
man.
could have had the first picture with him as a Jet if you just.
I could have, man. Damn,
up and
man.
ran up to him.
We're going back to the 2012 memories. God damn, bro. It fucking sucks being a Jet fan, doesn't it?
It never ends, man.
Thank you, Jake, bro. Appreciate you, brother. I got to run. I'm driving right now.
Air Jet, good job by you. He called in this morning for those who saw it and said, I saw Geno Smith. He was in this building near the Jet facility. I'm told, I know someone that said that's where the players get their physicals. We saw Rodgers right before he was a Jet, and Air Jet was right. More of your calls before we're joined by a special guest or two. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline.
Man Max ain't yapping about Jets. That boy, he's jamming. He's slamming. Freaking dancing. Wall smashing. I'm Jake Asman. If Mad Max ain't ever stopped yapping, that boy, he still be dancing. Then call Jake Asman. He got an orange wall.
What's up, ASMANIACs? How you guys doing? Let's talk about the Geno Smith move. It was probably the dumbest move the Jets could have made today, Probably one of the dumbest moves, Let's see if he can be a good bridge. He was good in Seattle from 2022 to 2024, but he sucked on the Raiders. He's terrible. Geno Smith should be probably gas in Jersey somewhere because the guy can't cut it. He's boring. He's lazy. He sucks. He's not even good. He's washed. 37 years old, And he was like, oh, blame it on me. Can you hear me? Honestly, we need to sign a backup quarterback. We don't want Geno Smith to be the starter. He sucks. Even though the Raiders' offensive line was probably the worst in the league, he still sucked. Can you hear me? Man. He still sucked, and he's 37 years old. We need competition. We need to have players that fight. They have muscles. We don't want players that are quitters or criers like Geno Smith. We need to get another quarterback to battle Geno Smith because Geno Smith should not be guaranteed starting jobs. Whether we get Will Levis on the market, can you hear me? Whether we get Jameis Winston, whether we draft someone like Ty Simpson or Garrett Nussmeier or Taylor Green, like Neil said, Taylor Green is a weapon. We could play wild. He could be the Taysom Hill type of guy.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? I can hear you. Is Beastbreaker on the line? Good job. Honestly, Leany. Can you hear me?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Good job.
Thank you, Mad Max. I just don't have time for your nonsense today. Take a breath every once in a while. It'll be okay. I promise you. Steady Eddie knows. He's next. Hello, Edward.
Hey, Jake. What's up?
Geno Smith, you?
Why the fuck didn't they wait one day? They could have got him for the league minimum and not have to give up one asset. I don't get this at all.
They were worried that he would go somewhere else.
That is they're worried that a journeyman's going to go somewhere else? That's
They
just
were worried
stupid.
he would go somewhere else.
That's just stupid, though.
They were concerned teams would snoop around and see if they could add Geno Smith to their team, and the Jets just wanted the guarantee that they got him. That's what Connor Hughes said.
So what? They traded a 6th for a 7th, so they give up a 7th, they get a 6th, or they gave up a 6th to get a 7th and Geno, and then they had to pay more money for him.
They didn't have to pay more money for him. They're getting him for like $3 million. It's like it's an extra $2 million than what the minimum is.
Yeah, but they still lost the draft pick.
They didn't lose a draft pick. They traded a 6th and got back a 7th. They lost a slot in a round.
I don't know. What do you? I just don't understand it.
I don't think Geno Smith's very good, so I'm not going to be gung ho about the move. He's probably among the better options, I guess, at this point. But like, I'm not. The cost of Geno Smith doesn't bother me. That's not my problem.
Here's my problem with the Jets this year. This is a year with the assets they have and the class coming out that they should absolutely tank. This would be the year to tank. Last year was not the best year to tank because of the assets coming out, unless you were looking purely at fixing the defense, which I will give Muji credit for. I think he did a pretty good job in fixing the defense so far. But letting Simpson and AVT go at the same time was a big mistake because now we have another offensive hole to fill. I'm not surprised that they didn't go and match what they got for Linderbaum because that is an epic price setting contract for the center position. And I wouldn't have paid 26, 27 million for a center. But holy shit, Jake. That was pretty I wouldn't have signed AVT either, but going to the Patriots was kind of a slap in the face by AVT to us.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
Edward, I love you, but I got actual Jet news I want to hit on here. The Jets have made a move. They are signing former Bears Pro Bowl corner Nan Wright to a 1-year deal worth up to $5.5 million. Wright, last season, as you see the tweet there from Jordan Schultz, 5 interceptions, 11 pass breakups, 2 fumble forced, 3 fumble recoveries, and 80 tackles. You look at the stats. He made the Pro Bowl last year. It's amazing they were able to get him for just 1 year and $5.5 million. Nan Wright. So is that the depth corner the Jets add? Do him and Brownlee compete? Interesting signing here. He had a huge year for the Bears. The Jets obviously had 0 picks last year. This guy had 5 on his own. Let's hope he could continue to have that knack for the ball. The Bears led the NFL on takeaways. I like the idea of signing someone from that defense who was well coached a year ago. This guy's been in the league for a little while, though. Like, he was a 3rd-round pick of the Cowboys in 2021. He played with the Vikings in 24. He was with the Bears this past year. He started 16 of 17 games. He was healthy for 17, though. He had a really good year. But are people just saying, hey, it was an outlier year? Still pretty young. He'll be 28 this season, turns 28 in September. This feels like a nice signing by Muji. I like this move. We'll do a film breakdown on him at some point here. But this feels like a nice depth signing. Again, he had 5 picks last year. That's 5 more than the Jets had. 1 year, there's no such thing as a bad 1-year deal, and 1 year for $5.5 million. Guy recovered 3 fumbles, had 5 interceptions. I like this move. Good job by Glenn and Muji with this one. It's great value. You got a guy who's coming off a Pro Bowl year for... Now, look, the Pro Bowl's not what it used to be, but... Between this and the Dane Belton move, I like some of the depth that the Jets are adding here. And they increase the level of competition if this guy's going to compete with Brownlee and if Belton competes with Moore for the other safety spot. Plus, they have the draft as well. So I like this signing. I'm a fan. Doc writing in, Jets sign Nan Wright, very strong against the run. 23 out of 114 in corners, according to PFF. Fits what they're doing. They should be very stout against the run. If you look at the guys they added yesterday to go with Harrison Phillips and Briggs, and obviously the Jermaine Johnson trade to bring in Smart. This defense is vastly improved. The head coach has superpowers to call it. The defense should be way better. Comes down to the quarterback and the offense, obviously, with Wright. Can Wright fix the offense with the return of Geno? Can we get more perfect passer rating days with Geno Smith at the helm? But to close the chapter here on Nan Wright, good move. Bino, 1 year, 5.5. Appreciate that. Super chat from LG in the raffle for 2. If Geno starts with the Jets' #1 pick acquired, AG fired, Mike Tomlin hired, CJ Carr drafted, Jets dynasty incoming, I'm happy with this pickup. Lame duck season ahead.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
If all that happens, God bless you for predicting it. Patty in the raffle, 4-1. Let's go. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll get to more of your calls. Will Parkinson is going to join us coming up shortly here, so we're awaiting him. In the meantime, let's say hello to PBM, who is on the line. Mike is next. Hey.
About Mike, he loves the Dark Knight. He's got a green pool and he jumps right in. Maybe someday he'll get a brown belt, but for now he's just that purple belt Mike. Purple belt Mike. It might be purple, but he can still kick your dirty ass.
Oh, fuck.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Hello, Mike.
I'm not so down on the Geno stuff because we're basically setting ourselves up to win 6 7 games, and maybe they get a chance to keep their job. So that's kind of what it is. Like, it's not the end of the world. It is what it is.
Yeah,
And we
he's
got a
not
quarterback
great.
in 27.
What I won't do is say it's the worst signing ever. I'm also not going to be here being like, this is great. Like, he's going to be awesome. Like, he's probably below average and will probably be a below average quarterback with the Jets again.
Yeah, that's probably what we're looking at. So we'll see. My dog is fighting right now. Come on.
Anything else, Mike?
Sorry, it's my dog. She's fighting. Let's go. Come on, come on. She hates that dog that she sees, trying to get her to come. But yeah. So I don't think it's the end of the world. Everyone just calm down. We're getting a quarterback in 27. We're gonna have a year that's a transition year, not a 3-win year, but like 5 to 7 is like the range I'm looking at. In that range. Hopefully we don't get blown out either. Hopefully we lose, competitively. That's what we got.
I don't hate it. Good call. Appreciate you, Mike. More calls right now. Southern Jets next. Hey, Rich.
Hey, Jake. The Samini, as far as the Geno trade, Samini tweeted that the Vikings were the team that were hot on the trail of Geno. And I've been doing some searching here and looking at some articles written since the trade from some beat writers up there. And they were after him. And a lot of them were saying the Vikings thought that Geno fit the scheme better than Murray. So it brings up, and then the article further went on that says they still might have interest in Cousins or Aaron Rodgers, depending where he goes. There seems to be maybe a backing off a little bit of Murray in Minnesota, as they flat out were saying that Geno might have been the guy they would have gotten at 4 p.m. tomorrow, and so that opens up some interesting things that we've been hoping for that maybe could still come to fruition as far as a second quarterback. Maybe Geno isn't 1A. He might be 1B.
Well, they're going to add another quarterback for sure, but
but maybe somebody better.
I don't know who's better that they're adding. And by the way, Geno was only going to go to Minnesota if Kyler didn't go there. Kyler is their number one choice based on every insider that is covering this. In fact, someone told me it's a done deal and it'll be announced tomorrow at 4 when Kyler is officially available.
I think it will now, but I'm just saying what I've been reading with these writers saying that they thought the word inside camp was that Geno fit the style more than Murray. A lot of people maybe still got the Murray, don't study thing. The other thing I was going to say was what you were mentioning. I think you mentioned that we should go after a cornerback on your first show, but these signings are telling me, other than Reese at 2, I think you might see 16, 33, and 44 go offense. And as far as your offensive lineman not wanting to go 16, I agree 100%. But as we all know, with that 33rd pick, it's the most sought after pick in draft history every time, as far as people making trade offers. There's going to be a good offensive lineman that's going to slip there. And I think that's maybe where we pick up our offensive lineman that you want.
Maybe. I prefer them to not take the guard at 16, Rich, but it's in play, and it could be in play.
No, I
at
don't
33 or
want
44
16 either. I said no 16 for guard. I think it'll be 33. I think they're going to go wide receiver at 16. Lineman at 33, and then 44. You tell me. Is there another offensive play, another wide receiver, a quarterback?
Yeah, there's a ton, but I don't know if that's their plan yet. Let's see if they trade for Brian Thomas Jr. And then guess what? They're not taking a receiver at 16. And they still, regardless what they do at receiver, they need to sign a legitimate guard before the draft. Even if they end up drafting Vega from Penn State, they need a legitimate guard before them. Or a center and then Tittman and Myers. One of them is guard, one of them center. They probably would just have Myers stay at center and then Tittman would stay where he was. Shout out to Patty, who became a channel member. We're giving away a signed Wayne Corbett jersey at the end of the show. Will Parkinson's supposed to join us. Waiting on him. In the meantime, we'll take more of your calls while we wait. Say hello to Taylor from Connecticut. Hey, Taylor. Hold on. Here we go.
Oh. Hey, what's going on?
I'm good, man. What do you got for us?
I don't know. I'm pretty negative on anything that's happened the last 2 days. You'd think the defense is vastly improved because we got Minka, I guess, Minka and DeMario.
Yeah, I think it's much better. I mean, Demario Davis is still playing at a high level. I think between him, Minka, the scheme being better suited for the players they added with Sweat, they'll add Arvell Reese to it. They'll be a lot better defensively. Is it enough for Glenn to save his job? I probably would say no as of now, but it will be better than how bad they were a year ago.
I see right now, if Gino is going to be the starting quarterback, I think we're picking first overall. I don't know. Like, it feels like it's the same thing every year. When it comes to these days in free agency, the Jets don't sign anybody. Like, they make lateral moves. You know, you're replacing Clemens with a dude like, you know, these Osire, the guy from the Packers. I'm like, okay, maybe they're like a little better. You know, I'm like, Clemens sucks, and they're like very below average to mediocre. So I guess it's a little better.
Minka's still a top 10 safety. Demario Davis is still really good. Again, you're adding an infusion of talent to this defense with the second overall pick. Like, even if Glenn is not, you know, a great play caller and he had one good year in Detroit, he's better than Wilkes. Like, naturally, the defense can't be worse. There will be real improvement in that unit.
I like Minka a lot. Like 20, I feel like 29 is fine. How old is
Taylor, I'm losing you with the internet. Geno Smith is 35. He will turn 36 in October. That is the big story. And joining us right now is the host of the Turn on the Jets podcast, Will Parkinson. Will, Geno is back. Bust out the old number 7 Geno jerseys at MetLife.
I know a lot of people are going to be like, and whatever about this. I like don't hate it. I'm not saying it's like some franchise changing move, but at least this probably keeps Garrett happy. At least you can run a professional offense. At least you're not paying someone $25 million to be here and like whatever. He's going to cost you nothing. If Geno's terrible, Jake, you're picking first overall next year. And if Geno has a year like he's had two 4,000-yard seasons the last 4 years, like Aaron Rodgers hasn't even had that at some, like at some point. I'm not saying that he's all of a sudden going to be great, but Jake, can he just be fine behind a pretty good offensive line? The Raiders' offensive line was in shambles. He'll pepper Garrett Wilson with a lot of targets, and the defense should be pretty good. I don't know if it'll be great, but it should be pretty good. Special teams should be good. And he cost you $3 million, dude. And it's a cool story. It's at least a fun story for us to cover. It's a fun story where it's like, hey, man, maybe like him getting his jaw broke in that game in Buffalo kind of started like all of this in a lot of ways. I know he can go to Kotri and I know that's different stuff, and and Sanchez in 2011 against the Giants. But it would be kind of cool just to see, like, even if it's a fun 6 weeks, man, it'd be fun just to like a couple of fun games, dude. It'd be a fun storyline. I'm not going to sit here and tell you all of a sudden they're making the playoffs, dude. But I will tell you, I feel a lot better about they can run a professional offense. Breece Hall can be involved in the passing game. Garrett Wilson will get his targets. Like, there won't be this like hodgepodge of weird stuff going on, especially during camp.
Do you think Geno Smith is still capable of doing all that? Because that sounds nice, but he's thrown 32 interceptions the last 2 years, and he was horrific this past year with the Raiders, and albeit a awful situation all around. Like, what version of Geno are we getting? Like, you referenced the 4,000-yard seasons.
Yeah.
Seattle went 10-7 with him and couldn't wait to move on for Sam Darnold. So just how much of Geno's game does he still have left to be that player?
Yeah, I don't know if he's like, I think there's going to be another ad, at least one ad, if not multiple ads.
Carson Wentz scares me if that's their backup plan.
I really just, like, at that point, I'd rather trade for Will Levis. I know people are going to be like, he's terrible.
I agree. I know what Carson Wentz is, and Will Levis probably stinks, but at least he's unknown.
Is Will Levis not just 2015 Geno, where it's like all this talent and you're like kind of enthused by like some of these moves, big arm, pretty mobile, not a runner, but mobile. And he just has like this, he can't get the bad decisions out of his game yet. I don't know, man. At least like it'd be a fun ask. look, Gino, the last 3 years, if you take the Raiders year out of it, because you can't take the Raiders year out of it, by the way. It still happened. He was terrible last year. Everyone was awful, and whatever. Like, the Raiders were an abject disaster. But if you just did the 3 years, look, with Seattle, he was 28 and 24 as a starter, 68.5% completion. He threw for 13,000 yards, 76 touchdowns, 36 picks. QB rating in the mid 90s. QBR was, somewhere in the high 50s. I think that, again, this is why the next move the Jets make, that's right. The move at corner, by the way, Wright is an awesome ball hawk. I'm not saying he's a special corner, but they needed depth there badly. He cost $5 million, and he was a part of 10 turnovers last year, Jake. Like, pretty good.
Did 5 interceptions. That's a good depth.
5 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 3 recoveries. But can Gino be 2024 Gino, who wasn't great by any means? They had made a lot of mistakes, threw 15 picks, but again, threw for 4,000 yards. It was 12 months ago, and that was behind a better offensive line where he felt more comfortable. There's the Chip Kelly stuff to me last year. There was a lot going on there. I don't think we'll ever really know what happened there, where like Kelly was like calling plays that they'd never practiced before, apparently, and the offensive line was an abject disaster. Guys were getting hurt left and right. Pete Carroll summons the O-line coach, and that nepotism went well. Point being, I think he could probably be 2024 Gino for a year, and at least make the Jets, like, again, run a competent offense, pepper Garrett with targets. You keep him happy. Hopefully you add another receiver here. But left guard's now the priority to me, because if you keep Gino upright, at least he can make some stuff happen. I don't think he's 2022. I think Gino, right? Jake is, when that first year back was really good, as we know. And, the 4,300 yards, led league in completion percentage, was 30 touchdowns, 11 picks. I don't know if we're getting that, but can we not get some version of 23 or 24 Gino, which is just solid, average, like, I don't know, good story, and at least, hey, maybe it's just for a year. Again, it's $3 million. And if he sucks, man, does we just do it for the Raiders? And your Arch Manning, your March for Arch happens, and if he does anything relevant, at least we're having meaningful, like, interesting games still in October and November.
We'll send you a tank top. The tank for Arch. Gino got the Seahawks Darnold. The Raiders benefited from Gino to get Mendoza. Can the Jets get their quarterback from Gino? Or, to your point, it would be a great story if he played well. He's going to a better situation as far as the skill players, the offensive line for sure. I just wonder, though, man, does this actually work? Yeah, is he just done? And, like, does this work for the Jets? Like, the first interception, like, how's Gino going to react to that? How's he going to handle the New York media again? Yeah, honestly, I know he's matured a lot, but still, he's flipping off fans in Las Vegas at the end of the season a year ago. That's not going to play in New York. He also played for the Giants, too, so their media covered him. It's just a lot, man. The first bad game he has, people are going to be making the joke, it's like he never left, or he's a welcome back. It's just, is he mature enough to handle all that? He's older now, but is he mature enough to handle what comes with, again, being back in this market playing for the Jets?
Yeah, I think there's just not really it probably does, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it almost like doesn't matter, where it's like, I think part of what happened last year was there's a lot of expectations with the Raiders. Everyone, like, they hired Pete, they gave Gino a ton of money. They drafted Genty. Bowers is coming off this big year. It was like, oh, we're going to fix everything. And then everything went to crap immediately after they beat New England. By the way, it's so funny. He won in New England week 1 last year. And that's just the way the season ended. But, yeah, no, I think there's a lot goes into it. Look, Gino's always going to be who Gino is. And he'll read a lot, and he'll see everything. I'm sure he'll go on YouTube later and see your show, Jake. But I think
Eugene, good to see it. Hey, Will.
Because he's not being paid any money by the Jets, if it goes south in any way, shape, or form, they're not, like, beholden to him. Not that you should ever be beholden to a guy because of the money, but let's be honest, Jake. We all know that, like, if it's the guy you drafted or this guy you're paying big money, you're going to give so much latitude to. Dude, if I don't know, let's just say they draft Gino, they take Gino, and then they do draft a Ty Simpson. Like, Gino only has the job because he's the veteran now, right? Or if it is, I don't know, if it is Carson Wentz, like, neither of those guys are like, they don't owe them anything. They're going to go try to win games. So
will he give me a high five again, like he did before Jets Browns in 2013?
Dude, that's Jake. It between DeMario, Gino, like, it just, there's so much. It is cool because DeMario thing's, I think, awesome, but all the haters are be like, oh, he's older, dude. I promise you, please watch him play. Like that guy, Jake, 2012 linebacker class. Can you name the 4 big names from that class? And if you can, 3 or the 4 are still playing. The other one's going to the Hall of Fame. DeMario's
Patrick Willis is one of them, right?
No, it's Kuechly, Bobby Wagner, Levante David, and yours truly, Demario Davis. 3 of those guys are still kicking, man, and they're still all really good.
Wow, Levante David, man, famous for that penalty in that win that Gino had. The first game as
that's probably the last time the Jets got a good call. That's Schiano. That might have been Schiano's Bucks.
It was. Yeah, Greg Schiano was the coach of the Bucks that year. You're right. Revis was on that team. That was Revis year 1 after Izek traded him to Tampa.
What a man! I was a freshman in college. Now I'm just a stupid podcaster.
Crazy, man. If you got a question for Will, write it in. We'll get to them. Continue your thought, Will. Go ahead.
No, I don't. Of the moves they've made, like, what's there not to at least be, like, understand what they're doing? Like, last year, I feel like we sat here and we were like, we understood Fields, why they did it. Even if you disagreed, we understood why they made the move. Every other move they made, we were like, what the hell are you doing? Like, there was no rhyme or reason. They're just, like, kind of clicking buttons. It felt like last year. It was like, oh, this guy's 25. We'll just sign him, even though he sucks. You know what I mean? This feels at least like there's a plan. We're going to raise the floor on defense. We're going to sign. Dude, the Belton and the Wright signings were really good value. Both those guys I thought should have gotten more money. I'm impressed they were able to get them here. Obviously, we know the Davis signing. You know, people are going to beat up the Osai signing. Dude, it's a 2-year, $22 million deal. He had 43 pressures and 5 sacks last year. Like, okay, he's replacing Michael Clemens. Kingsley Enagbare is the same player, is the player we wanted Jermaine to be in a lot of ways, of like an elite run defender that's stout, can set an edge. Jermaine has more pass rush juice, but not really by that much. Joseph Osai has more sacks than Jermaine Johnson does, and is 3 years younger, you know, and is cheaper. Like, if you look at it, like, you know, I don't know. To me, Onyemata was a top 10 graded defensive tackle in the league last year. Devondre Sweat was a top 10 graded tackle in the league last year. You know, Minka played like the 7th best safety in the league last year and was being asked to do something out of position because the Dolphins had so many injuries in the are they going to be the best defense ever? No, but they got 3 horrible coaches off their defensive staff that had direct impacts to a lot of bad stuff happening. They've added a bunch of talent that fits their own scheme. They have the number 2 and number 16 overall picks in the draft, Jake. There's not really an excuse. Like, I don't know. I don't want to misquote whoever show it was, but one of the national shows were like, what does this make the Jets, the 17th best defense? I'm like, yeah, man, they were 32nd last year. That's a huge goddamn difference. Like, what do you got? Like, what do you people not understand? That's a huge difference. That's a great thing. That'd be really nice to show tangible progress from a head coach that rightfully so has been criticized. They've recruited some solid free agents here who had other options. Let's see what happens. They got to figure out quarterback long-term, obviously. They got to draft well still, Jake. They got to fill left guard. They got to, you know, get another receiver or 2 in here. But at least there's like it feels like there's a plan, which there has not felt like there's been a plan for the last 12 months.
It's going to be fascinating to see what their plan is at guard, because that is an obvious need now, letting AVT walk. What was your reaction on that?
Yeah. I think they were all kind of spooked. I think the Jets and then probably AVT too were just like, man, like, I'm 4 years into 4 freaky injuries in a row. Like, I probably just need to like figure it out somewhere else. AVT's getting $250K for every game he's active throughout that entire contract. I've never seen anything like that.
That's what I wanted the Jets to do, though. Like, that was literally the deal I described.
I think he was kind of like, I'm good. Like, I think he was like, I'm good. Like,
well, he didn't want to be a Jet. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't think it was like the Jets thing. I think it was like I've had injuries so many years in a row, like I have to change something type of thing. Like, it's not like he was like, I need to get out of like New York even. It was just like, I have to try something different. Like, I don't know what's going on here. It almost becomes mental.
This was Kaz. I'll play the clip for you. Yeah. This was Kaz on AVT.
You're letting a 26-year-old former first-round pick who you named captain before the season last year just walk.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be here, Ryan. So, like, everyone always goes, oh, the Jets are letting him go. AVT, you know, I've heard AVT really wants to change the scenery. he feels like he's just had bad luck after bad luck after bad luck with the Jets, and he kind of wants to change his juju a little bit and find a new team. So I don't pin this on the Jets. I think he wants to go somewhere else. And look, if he goes out in the market and the market doesn't develop, maybe there's a chance for a reunion. You know, maybe the Jets make him the best offer and he decides, you know what, I will go back. That makes the most sense for me. But I think the other part for the Jets, if you're trying to negotiate beforehand, his market is tough to figure because of the injuries. You know, like I've seen people say, "Oh, he's going to get $15 million a year." Like that would surprise me. But offensive linemen are what they are. But I really think the biggest factor is I think AVT, he just wants to go somewhere else, Ryan. Like I think that's what I've heard is he's just kind of tired of the injuries and feels like he needs a new place to play.
It just sucks because if he went to any other team, we'd all root for him. But he went to the one team you just can't go to if you want the Jet fan to still support you.
It's just disappointing. Even if he went to the Giants, like what you see him once every 4 years, it doesn't really matter. New England's banking a lot, man, on 36-year-old Morgan Moses, AVT, who hasn't played more than 7 games in over 4 years, Will Campbell, who sucks, Mike Onwenu, who has weight problems. Like man, I understand it, but running back the 2024 Jets offensive line that everyone beat up for the beginning of the year, it does like our 2023 offensive line, whatever, even the early Zach Wilson offensive line with AVT and Morgan Moses and Becton and like these guys, I don't know. Giving Romeo Dubs $22.5 million a year. I like Dubs. I don't know if I liked him for $22.5 million. And it
was a tough back-to-back, though, when I was checking notifications, like Gino to the Jets, and then next move, Dobbs to the Patriots. I was like,
I know. Well, at least that means no A.J. Brown for New England, which is good. Then it takes them out of the BTJ sweepstakes probably. I would say, like, the Jets division has probably objectively gotten worse this offseason. I just don't know how much better the Jets have gotten until we see. I think, Jake, the biggest issue is, like, we're not going to know how much better they are until we get into camp and actually see like legitimate, like, oh, this offense. And they go against last year when they went against the Giants. I remember being like sitting there on the field going, okay, well, Justin Fields hasn't completed a pass in three periods. Like that stuff can't happen again.
And then week 1 happened. And we're like, wow, this team's going to be well coached and they have a real offense. Like Justin Fields looked awesome. Wow, maybe Aaron Glenn wasn't kidding. It is all coaching.
The Packers game was that was the biggest fluke of all time. I go out and sign Elton Jenkins, man, and like go really put your foot down. I like Chris Paul as like the John Simpson kind of replacement out of Washington. He's an elite pass blocker. His run grade game sucks, but like he's 27. It was his first year as a starter. Who cares? He's going to probably cost you $6 or $7 million a year. Draft somebody. If you don't get a Brian Thomas Jr., Arvo Reese and Mekhi Lemon in the first round has been everyone's favorite mock draft, Jake, for 2 months now. And I feel like we're going to end up getting back to that would really excite people. Yeah, man, I don't know. I like the idea of like you can keep Garrett happy, which I told you on the show, I guess yesterday, I was like, my huge fear is like you don't have a professional quarterback in here. And Garrett's like, I'm getting so goddamn frustrated. Get Garrett a running mate and get him a quarterback that can at least get him the football. You'll be able to keep your young core happy because at least there's nothing more demoralizing than as an offensive player knowing I have no shot. As a defensive player knowing I have no shot. A lot of guys probably didn't watch Geno last year at Vegas, man. Like internally, players, like why were they watching Vegas? They probably think he's still the same guy from 2022, which he's not, but it doesn't matter to them. It matters to more me and you. So, he'll at least instill more confidence than what Miss good old buddy Fields and Cook did.
Do you think this opens the door for Ty Simpson? Because I do. I think if Ty Simpson is there at 16, he's in play, but I think there's a chance they could move back in to the first round to beat Arizona to it. If they're concerned the Cardinals would take him at 34 and the Jets are there at 33, I could see the Jets trying to get back in to round 1 to get him. Like I'd be surprised if it's Geno, Carson Wentz, and then we'll take Drew Allar or Garrett Nussmeier or Kalen Green.
I can't watch Drew Allar and Carson Wentz on the same
because they're going to play. Like again, it's nice to picture the fairy tale ending for Geno, but chances are in Jet history, other than ironically, the one full Aaron Rodgers year where he started 17 games, chances are Geno will get hurt or be poor and get benched, and we will see a second, if not third quarterback. That's the history of the Jets. So, like, to me, this opens the door for Ty Simpson to truly be in play for them.
Yeah, 100%. Someone put in the comments, I would say, like, it is an interesting thing. Like, if this is 12 months ago and the Jets were moving off Rodgers and they got Geno, or they had got, I mean, we can't even use Sam. They had gotten Geno, like, I wonder what the conversation would be. This year just, like, did so much to tarnish what a really good 3 years was. And it happens fast for guys, right? As you get older, it can happen fast. I do wonder, like, the arm still feels really live. It feels like it was a matter of just, like, he got hit so much early in the year and it kind of just all fell apart. And then the offensive play calling was bad, the offensive line stuff. That's why, figuring out left guard is going to be, and even honestly trying to upgrade at center and making Myers your swing guy would be awesome. Like, that would really show you something, and that you go out and get a receiver. Man, I don't know what the ceiling of the team is, but it feels like the floor at least continues to raise, which, Jake, I think most of us are just, like, asking for some normalcy, man. Like, going in each week and not being like 8,000 things have to happen to have a successful day today. Like, we're not going to get run off the field embarrassed. And again, like, Glenn's got to coach well. Frank Reich's got to show there's a lot of question marks around this team, but it does feel like they've operated like a normal, good, solid organization for 2 days of tampering, which I don't know the last time they did that. Like, they've either done everything to go get Aaron Rodgers and signed a bunch of his buddies that all sucked for like a couple years. Before that, they were giving a gazillion dollars to a bunch of unproven guys and guys that had injury risks. And this year it's like, some really solid guys that could start for you in the secondary. You got a former superstar who's probably not the same player yet, but he's still a really good player in Minka. DeMario's an adult. Onyemata is an adult. Andy Agbari is an adult. Like, these guys are just like, I think Connor said this the other day. He's like, they got a bunch of guys so far, Jake, in free agency and through trades who are just like, they go to work, they wear their suit and tie, they're able to clock in at the right hours. You don't have to tell them what to do. You don't have to baby them. We don't need to, like, worry about DeMario Davis tweeting. They've got one of those guys left in the organization. That's it. They've gotten all the rest of them out. All the guys that are like, and I wish Brees would stop, because it doesn't help anybody, and you're not going to make more money by, like, tweeting. It doesn't do anything. But Jermaine's gone. Like, that culture is out of the building.
Well, what's crazy? There's only one player that's left from the 2021, 2022 first or second round picks on this team, and it's Garrett after AVT signed elsewhere. And there's only one player left from the 2021 draft class in general, and it's a guy who no one's a fan of right now in Jamie Sherwood.
And what's the good thing is, we don't have to talk about Jamie Sherwood now, likely, unless a move happens with him where they draft another linebacker or sign one, until week 1. It's kind of awesome. Like, the pressure is totally off him, which you hope, like, leaves him in a good spot, right? I like bringing Wright to push Azaria during camp, and he's a younger player. And hey, if Stevens isn't as good and he beats Stevens out, you cut Stevens and you have, Wright. Or safety wise too, like, hey, hopefully Malachi takes a step, but Dane Belton's a really solid player, and hopefully you're probably going to draft one inside the top 100, if not in the top 40. So, yeah, man, left guard, you got to add another quarterback, obviously, just because Geno's older, whether it's through the draft. I still am a huge fan of Ty Simpson. I know not a lot of people are. I think everyone's kind of, like, migrated to just focusing on 2027. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not sitting here telling you, the sun is out finally in New York, but I'm not sitting here telling you that, like, they're going 10-7 now, but I'm telling you, I'd feel much better about predicting them to go 6-11, 7-10 than I feel like they were a 3-14 team, or 4-12 or 4-13 team. They probably increased themselves by 2 wins over the last 2 days, maybe. And I know that's not a lot, but man, that's without the draft and without, like, a lot of moves left to be made. I like the direction they're going in, I should say.
The Mooj making some moves. I think we have a GM, Will. I do. I think there's major questions.
Most importantly, by the way, pretty much none of their money is tied up past next year, and most of it's not tied up past this year. Like, they haven't signed any deals that are going to hamper them long term, hamper the next. If this regime sucks, like a lot of people think they do, and they're gone, the next.
Well, I think the coaching staff and the front office could be viewed through separate lenses. Like I think Muji
but
has
even still,
separated
like,
himself from the coaching staff.
The new head coach doesn't have to come in and say, "Oh, Joe Douglas actually made it so I have $100 million in dead cap because he signed all these horrendous contracts, throughout his time here." Like, there's no more excuses. And they don't have next year. They won't have all this dead cap. I know people were like, "Oh, I wish they didn't backload DeMario's deal." Like, well, the cap's going to go up, and next year they don't have $100 million in dead cap. Like you just have to balance out the sheet. So, yeah, I don't know. I got to keep seeing I really am curious what this Minka details are going to look like. It makes me think that the deal is very team friendly, that it hasn't come out yet. Usually when it's a player friendly deal, it's
They don't
right
say
away.
anything. Yep.
Everyone knows all this guaranteed money. We have no idea how much is guaranteed in that deal still. Be on the lookout. The Jets probably used an option bonus on Minka. So what'll happen is it's probably just a 2-year deal, and there's probably a bloated 3rd-year number that's an option bonus that they can just cut before the end of the year. Before the start of the league year in 2028. So just be I'd be curious. I bet you that's what they used. It's a Rosenhaus special. That's what they did with Tyreek. It's what they did with Minka last year. That's why Minka has no guaranteed money. It's just a bloated option bonus that if they keep him on, they would have kept him on the roster. That's what it would have looked like.
All right, let's do a little prediction at the end here. Predict QB2, and right now, predict the picks at 2 and 16.
Wentz, Reese, and Lemon. If I had to be unbiased about it, I would really prefer it to be anybody else at backup quarterback, literally anybody else. Tyson Bagent's interesting. Frankie brought him up yesterday. The Bears signed Case Keenum, didn't they? I'm pretty sure they did.
If that happened, I missed it.
They might have. I'm pretty positive they did. They signed a backup quarterback, which makes me think Bagent might get moved. That one would be at least semi-interesting.
You're correct. They did sign Keenum.
Sure. I've seen my brain is fried. I think Reese is would be an awesome addition to a defense that's missing that one elite athlete, because everything else, they're really strong, nasty, tough now. There's a lot there. They need that one unicorn guy. And then everyone knows how I feel about Mekhi Lemon. I think he's going to be awesome, and he's a perfect complement to Garrett Wilson.
I'm a fan of his too, so I would love that. Will, I appreciate you hopping on.
Thanks for having me, man. The Asmaniacs were quite kind today. A lot of positive comments.
You're reaching 900 plus of them live right now, Will.
Listen,
Gino puts asses in the seats.
Gotta make them happy. I feel like they're thinking they're in a good headspace. We're moving in a direction that's not totally dooming yet.
I'll make them happy. Just think back to that fateful day in Miami, last game of the Jet season, last game of the Rex Ryan era, 2014, and Geno Smith, 20 of 25, 358 yards, 3 touchdowns. Eric Decker with 221 receiving yards. What a day in Jet history.
What a day, my friend. What a day.
Will,
talk to you
appreciate
soon,
your time, man. Will Parkinson, TOJ. All right, some sad news, Jet related, I wanted to share. I just saw this from Rich Samini. Some sad news. I'll read you the tweet from Rich. Matt Snell, Jets legend and Super Bowl III hero, has passed away. His son, Bo Snell, told ESPN. Snell, 84, died this morning on Long Island. He was a Jets Ring of Honor member and scored the only touchdown in Super Bowl III. He was dominant that day, rushing for 121 yards. Truly one of the all-time greats. So, Matt Snell, RIP, thoughts with his family, Jet legend, and obviously a huge part of the history of the Jets. Him, Emerson Boozer, that tandem, part of Jet greatness, Jet lore. Obviously, Namath was the Super Bowl MVP that day, but many think that it could have went to Matt Snell, who did score the only touchdown in the Jets' upset win over the Baltimore Colts. So, RIP to one of the all-time great Jets, Matt Snell, who has passed away at the age of 84. On that note, Joe Blewett will be joining me shortly, so we will get into the Jet and Geno Smith of it all with him. I'm going to take more of your calls as well, but let's update everyone on Asmaniac Madness. It's a battle right now, 52-49. Peter Castro leading Craig from Australia. As I'm talking, it just flipped to 52-48. So a 4-point lead. We don't get the percentage points for those wondering how you could have 52% and 48%. 52-48. That's what I'm seeing right now in Asmaniac Madness. Make sure you vote to determine who advances to the round of 32. While we wait for Joe, let's get to more of your calls right now. We're talking all things Gino. Hit it.
Adam is cool, although kind of basic. He claims he's too cool, though often quite basic. He makes great jet points, looks a little basic. Adam is cool, too cool, but basic. Some would say generic.
Hey Jake, that was awesome. That was a really good one with Wilpa. Preach. He was really on fire with all the points. I couldn't agree more. He was really on fire. Lot to think about and a lot of content. Definitely worth a rewatch for anyone that hasn't listened in on it.
What a PR guy you are for Will, man. Will should hire you as his agent. I love it. I thought it was a good spot too.
He doesn't need my help. He's phenomenal. He's one of my favorites. You always bring on really, really awesome folks. So thank you for that.
Who's your least favorite? Call him out.
I don't know.
Sucks?
I love Tanky V. Like Tanky V is my least favorite, but doesn't mean I don't like him. How about that?
Frankie V, Mr. David Bailey's the greatest player ever, and Arvell Reese sucks. I see.
I still like him. He doesn't mean I don't like him. Just if I had to force rank it, that's where it is.
Frankie's a good guy. I like Frankie.
Yeah, I guess one more point, and then I'll let some other calls get in quickly. Isn't it nice to see them act with urgency? I kind of feel like where was this sense of urgency last year that could have probably averted? I think they were very casual last year, all things considered. I know Wilpa kind of pointed that out, and I was thinking the same thing. Like, these moves are really good moves because they're again, he said it already, like low investment, but production. And I feel like this is a fundamentally different team already, just by the composition. I think a lot of the malcontents are gone. So if we as Jets fans can try and wipe the slate clean and look at this with a fresh set of eyes, this is the season of hope. But, you know, we've seen worse. I don't think we can be worse than last year just by the people on paper. And I think that's a good thing. And it was interesting that the approach that they're taking now, because, you know, they're on the hot seat, kind of reflects the need to win now. And of course, that's going to cost us a really good pick next year because that's how it goes. But at least we have 3 of them. So maybe it's going to take a few of those to trade up. So,
and look, here's the other thing too, Adam. Good call. They don't need to be picking one to get their quarterback. We'll talk about this a lot next year because I can already see where the season is in all likelihood going. We don't need the number 1 pick to get our long-term answer at quarterback. Drake May was picked the 3rd quarterback picked his year. Jaden Daniels had the best rookie season ever, picked 2nd. The year before that, Stroud had the best rookie season ever, picked 2nd. Bo Nix picked 15th overall, was the 5th quarterback taken. You need the right coach paired with the right quarterback. Now, sometimes you could just strike out and be awful with the quarterback selections. Zach Wilson couldn't be fixed by anyone, as evidenced by the fact he sucked with Denver, never got a chance, sucked in Miami, they went to Quinn Ewers over him. J.J. McCarthy might just suck, right? Kevin O'Connell couldn't fix him. So some guys just are bad. But if we assume the Jets could get a talented thrower of the football with a competent coach, if it doesn't work out with Glenn, it comes down to coaching, man. Sam Darnold was on his 5th team. We just saw this. So that is a big part of all this too. They don't need the number 1 pick necessarily, but they need to be in a better quarterback draft and have an avenue to get one of the top guys. Doesn't need to be the top guy because the top guy doesn't always work out. You know, I had that graphic I showed a lot when we thought there were all these quarterbacks that maybe could be in play for the Jets this year. The top quarterback in each draft class is not always the guy who goes first overall. In most years, it's not. There's exceptions, Luck, Burrow, but it's not always the case. So keep that in mind. All right, we'll keep it rolling with our outstanding guest. This guy was originally going to come on today to break down some film on Jet free agent signings, and then Gino got signed. Joe Blewett joins us now. Joe, we'll save some of the film for another appearance when things die down. But now that you're on, give us the instant reaction to Eugene Smith coming back to the Jets.
It's better than Carson Wentz, I guess.
You might get both.
Yeah. I think that's probably what ends up happening is that he's the number 2, and you bring in a guy in the draft, probably 4th round or later. But you know, I don't hate it. I guess I don't love it either. Like realistically, with the quarterback options, you know, I would have preferred Kirk Cousins. I would have preferred a Brissett. Probably would have even preferred a Carr. But I don't think those guys are like so substantially better than a Geno Smith where it matters all that much to me. You know, And with Cousins, obviously, too, like what is his contract? I saw some rumors that he was expecting around 25 million as well. So Geno Smith costing you $1 million, but it's like $1.2 million. So not taking up a lot of the cap. You don't really have any ties to him. Decent, right? Like he's had some decent seasons recently. Obviously, leading the NFL last year in picks is not all that great.
32 the last 2 years is not great either.
Yeah, I think he threw for like almost or a little bit over 4,000 yards 2 years ago, right? So at least he's putting the ball up there. It's a guy that can at least get the ball to Garrett Wilson deep down the field, has some good arm talent, some good accuracy. It could definitely waver with Geno. I remember that a lot about him with the Jets. It's like some beautiful throws and 2 or 3 in a row, and then one he'll just completely whiff on a throw over the middle. So the accuracy is definitely inconsistent, but it's okay. I'm hoping that we get somebody in the draft, another free agent that can instill some type of hope for us for like a higher ceiling than Geno, because Carr, while he may be a little bit more risky, I think he has a higher ceiling than what a Geno Smith could provide you if Derek Carr is healthy. So I don't hate it. I don't love it. It kind of is what it is at this point with Geno. I'm not going to lose my mind.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Let's react to what the chat is saying. Joe Blewett hanging out with us, and we certainly got a lot to discuss. This one is from Jupiku, says, doesn't it feel like we're following the Seahawks' exact path? Well, Geno went from Seattle, and they ended up with Darnold. Then he goes to the Raiders. They're going to end up with Mendoza. Can Geno help us land our future answer at the quarterback spot? Is that the path the Jets are on, Joe Blewett?
Yeah, right. I've seen that he's led to quite a few successful quarterbacks. The place that he just previously left. So that's maybe that's what it is for the Jets. Whether that be a 2027 quarterback, one in this draft. We'll see what happens with Simpson. They gave themselves a ton of flexibility in this draft, so I feel like it's probably more likely that they draft Simpson at 16 than it was a few days ago, because they added a ton on defense. Like even depth we're talking about. It's not even just starters that they're plugging up. They added a lot of depth too. So they have a lot of versatility, or they have a lot of flexibility to not have to add positions in the draft on defense. Obviously add we still have some holes on offense. I'd argue 2 on the offensive line and 1 at receiver 2, maybe even receiver 4 for this team, because Mechie didn't come back. So I definitely just think they open themselves up, and maybe it's a quarterback like Simpson who will be your next guy to take over for Geno, who makes a run.
Hit the like button if you guys are tuning in. Joe Blewett from JetX is my guest. We still got 900 people watching live. Shout out to the best listeners for being engaged with all the content, including those who have purchased some March for Art shirts since we've been on the air. I want to give a shout out to listener Anthony Lamella, who bought a shirt and is entered in the raffle for 5. Anyone who buys a March for Art shirt during this live show, we'll put you in our raffle for the 3 signed helmets on Friday. Garrett Wilson, Joe Klecko, Joe Namath, and end of the show, Wayne Corbett autographed jersey is the top prize. We got a super chat from our guy Taylor in Connecticut. Taylor D'Onofrio, O-line going from strength to need is a disaster for us, and Geno was almost as bad as Fields, man. Geno was not Fields level bad, but again, the O-line needs to be solidified before the draft. The plan can't be we're just going to go in and just draft the guard at 16. I don't care how good Vega from Penn State is. I don't know if you've done any film on him, Joe, but to me, they should sign a legit veteran in free agency that could be a guard/center type. So at least you're covered going into the draft, and you truly could let the board play out BPA, and then you address your needs, and your strategy based on not knowing you need to reach for a position. You could truly evaluate your options and not through a lens of, well, we better get this player because we don't have a starting left guard right now, starting right guard.
Yeah, I think if you go into the draft with the offensive line the way it is now, you're almost going to need to force the pick at 16, because they need 2 interior offensive lines. To me, I'm not signing up for Myers to be your starting center. I think he could be, obviously, in a pinch, and he's kind of what we expected him to be last year, right? Like he's a really low-end starter or a very high-end backup. So I would like to see him be that high-end backup and grab 2 interior offensive linemen. They don't have to be studs. They don't have to be Linderbaum, $27 million a year or anything like that. But guys in the range from like $5 to $15 million type contracts. I want to see at least one of those to give yourself some more flexibility. And if an offensive lineman presents itself, 33 or 44 or whatever we are next, like 103, and you really like one of those guys, then you can bring them in to compete with a Myers. But right now, I think I'm 100% with you. You need at least one offensive lineman, starting level offensive lineman, before you go into the draft, because if not, I do think you probably have to force it. And in terms of like going from a strength to a need is a disaster for us. Really, the only thing we lost is Simpson, right? Like AVT wasn't there for the entire year, and he just obviously got a big contract, which speaks to how good he is when he's healthy. You know, I didn't expect him to get that much, but speaks to how good he is when he's healthy. But really, it's Simpson. Like that's the biggest loss right now, and he was below average last year. So I think a free agent signing for $8, $9, $10 million can replace him relatively well. And then again, we'll see what happens in the draft. So definitely need at least one more.
Benjig writes, and I get it, the Geno slight's well deserved, but there's no way we're picking first overall. We won 3 games with Fields. Don't see us duplicating that. Again, things happen, man. Last year, the Raiders were not supposed to be the worst team in the league. Like it just became a bleep show. What if Geno gets hurt and Carson Wentz is playing for you? Then you might be picking 1-1, right? Or Geno just might be shot. Again, he's going to be 36. He's thrown 32 picks the last 2 years. We could just say, oh, it was just all the Raiders' dysfunction. He wasn't that good as last year in Seattle. I think Geno Smith's better than what they've had, but the bar is pretty low. They could be awful if Glenn doesn't fix the defense. And I think talent-wise, the defense is much improved. But like Glenn can't say, well, it took me until my 4th year as a DC for my defense to be good in Detroit. It's got to be much better immediately for him to have a chance to save his job and for the Jets to win at least 6 or 7 games for him to be the head coach a year from now.
Yeah, I think you're like hoping for the 2015 Fitzpatrick year. I forget how many picks he threw in that year, but obviously 31 touchdowns. I don't think you're going to see that from Geno. He had 17 touchdowns, 17 picks last year, right? So hoping if you address some of the holes on offense, you add 2 interior offensive linemen, you get a receiver, maybe a receiver 4. And you really build out the offense. Could he give you, high 3s, low 4s in terms of the thousands of yards, 25 touchdowns and like 15 picks? Like, would you be okay with that if that's Geno's type of stat line? It's possible, in terms of the upgrade of rosters that you're going from the Raiders to the Jets. I'm not gassing up the Jets or anything like that, but I think we'd both argue that the Jets situation is better than the 2024 Raiders or the 2025 Raiders offense. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him, but I'm of the mind that I'm okay with this if there's another body brought in that's at least capable, again, like a Carr. If it's just with the Wentz and then it's like a 5th round quarterback, not much to write home about there. But if it's a Ty Simpson, if it is a Derek Carr, something like that, at least give you some hope for a legit competition. But him just being the surefire starter for the entire 2026 Jets is obviously not overly inspiring.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Joe Blewett is our guest. Let's see what we have here. Ralphie checks in the raffle for 2. And by the way, I checked for you. Ryan Fitzpatrick threw 15 interceptions in 2015, 31 touchdowns, 3,905 yards. If you remember, though, of the 15 picks, he threw 3 or 4 of them in that Bills game in week 17. Yeah. I think it was 3, but I prefer not to think about that.
I think they were all in the 4th quarter, too, actually.
You're right. Yeah. Remember he threw 6 against the Chiefs the following year? I do. I threw a coffee table through a window in my college apartment watching that game.
Yeah, that was a bad one. The Arizona game was a really bad one. I think Geno actually checked in like the 3rd quarter, but they lost like 28-3 or something like that. And I was in the crowd for that one, which was awful. So yeah, not the best memories of Fitz in 2016, but yeah, scratch off like 5 or 6 of those touchdowns, 24 touchdowns, 25 touchdowns, high 3,000 yards. Like, I think he could be capable. There's also obviously a chance where he completely blows up and you have, only 3 or 4 wins. Like, that's definitely possible, which is why you want to see him paired with a guy who could take over. And then you worry a little bit about like the immaturity. Now, obviously he was a lot younger with the Jets, a decade ago. So you're hoping he matured a little bit, but I specifically remember him like running off the field last year at a certain point. I don't know if it was at the Raiders Stadium or not, but he's flipping dudes the bird. So I'm not sure how mature he is still, but yeah, as a Bridget, I'm not going to lose my mind again. Like how much better is Kirk Cousins really? How much better is Carr? Really. So I'm not going to lose it about it. Was hoping for a little bit more. It seems like the Cardinals are going to stick with Brissett. At least that's some of the rumors that are floating around. I'd much rather have him just because I think he's a better veteran leader, and he might. I think he's a little bit better.
That was my thing, Joe. Like, I'm with you. I wanted Geno and trade for Derek Carr and have a real competition. I wanted Geno and Jacoby Brissett. Like, I'm sorry, what has Geno Smith done? We just hand him the starting job, even if they brought in Will Levis, let Will Levis compete for the starting job. We all know if it's Wentz. Wentz is not winning the job over Geno. We know what Wentz is.
Yeah, I think Wentz is closer to like a 3 than he has a good 2 at this point. I've seen nothing good from Wentz in recent years when I've watched him, and it seems like his body's really broken down as well. So I'm not really interested in Wentz. If he was quarterback 3, again, fine. Just quarterback 2, and then like a 5th or 6th round guy, again, not the most inspiring. But yeah, a Derek Carr, a Brissett, something like that. I don't know what happened with the whole Kirk Cousins thing. Did they hear through the did they hear that he wasn't going to come here, and they put it out that they didn't want him again? Were they avoiding the situation of like 8 years ago, whatever it was with Kirk Cousins? I don't know. But maybe with Geno, it all blows up and, you get 3 wins instead of Kirk Cousins getting you in purgatory of winning like 6 or 7 games. So I guess at least there's that. But again, good size with Geno, at least capable size, right? I think he's like 6'2", 6'3". I think he's got some good weight behind him too. So we'll see what happens. Again, I'm not crying about it.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Benji says 6 through 11, top 10 pick in the draft. Better D, better O-line. Yeah, again, 6 and 11 will still get you a top 10 pick, and the Jets have 3 ones to move the board around. And when no one takes into account, what if the Colts just suck, right? What if Daniel Jones is not fully healthy? He doesn't replicate anywhere close to what he was last year before the injury. What if Dak Prescott or Jordan Love, God forbid, suffer serious injuries? The reason why the Jets have Garrett Wilson is because the Seahawks picks ended up being the number 10 pick in the draft because Russell Wilson got hurt, and ironically, Geno Smith had to start a lot of that year, and they were not the Super Bowl contender they were thought to be when they made the Jamal Adams deal in the first place. Like, the idea that the Jets just need to be picking number 1 overall in order to secure the quarterback a year from now, it's not true. There's going to be at least 4, maybe 5 first-round quarterbacks. And look, we never know. We say this, and things change. But if I'm betting the odds on it, the odds are there's going to be way more than just Fernando Mendoza or whatever the equivalency of that a year from now is, and you'll have more than one option to get a quarterback.
Yeah, I think the safe bet is you're going to have at least one top 10 pick out of the Colts and Jets, and maybe you get lucky and, not lucky, obviously, based on expectations for the Jets. Hopefully the Jets win the Super Bowl, but realistically, it might be a thing where the Jets finish in top 10, like Benji saying, like 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, something like that. But like you said with the Colts, their roster is not all that great. They lost Cross, right? They're not re-signing him. Obviously, Pittman just got traded as well, and Pierce got close to Garrett Wilson money, right? Like he was high 20s, and Pierce, to me, like everything I know, and obviously I haven't studied him, he's more like of a high end 2, getting receiver 1 money. Daniel Jones has obviously been very spotty in his career and coming off of an injury, and he's not going to be healthy to start the season, I believe. So who is their backup at this point? So yeah, there's a chance the Colts are a bad team and finish in the top 10 as well. And obviously, yeah, you'd like to have a top 3 pick to really cement yourself in like that quarterback range. But with 3 first-round draft picks, and do they have 2 seconds next year as well? I forget if they have 2 seconds next year as well. But even if with 3 first-round draft picks, if you really have conviction in a guy and you love him, you can trade one of those picks, obviously, to get up in what's supposed to be a very deep draft in general. So those picks will be valued even more. So we'll see what happens in 27, but we don't know what happens in 26 yet, right? Like there's a possibility they draft Simpson at 16. There's a possibility they trade up from 33 to draft Simpson. If he falls to 33, that would be ideal. I think that would be a really, really good spot to grab him. So we don't even know if 2027 if they're even going to take a shot on a quarterback yet. So we still got to wait.
100%. Hey, quick update in ASMANIAC Madness.
ASMANIAC Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
This might be our closest battle yet. I'm glad Joe Blowett's here for this one. Right now, in poll voting, it's 51-49. Peter Castro leading Craig from Australia. Craig with a chance to pull off the first upset of the tournament, a 12 beating a 5. I know you've been around the show, Joe. You know both callers. Your thoughts on this battle here?
Yeah, I believe I voted for Castro on this. I just rode the higher seed, but I know Peter. I think I've spoken to him before. I don't know if I've had any interactions with Craig. But I have to check my bracket to see how I'm doing. I'm assuming if you just go on that bracket, you click on it, I can see all who's won the matchups. I gotta figure that out. But hopefully I'm doing well. I know Peter's a little more brash, and I know he's entertaining. So I would like to see Peter move on, and obviously I have selfish reasons for me getting more points for that win as well.
Love it. Comments, questions, super chats. Joe Blewett is here. Have you started any film review on the Jets free agent ads?
I'm swimming. My mind is literally everywhere right now. I'm thinking about just like 1,000 different things with all these guys. Yeah, I've done one game on these guys so far, but I've done a game on Fitzpatrick, Davis, Osai. I don't know how to pronounce some of these names, so do not kill me for the pronunciation. Osai Anyamata. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it either. And then I've done one on Agnagbari. How do you say that in one, Jake? I know you got the pronunciation. Yep. Agnagbari. Okay, yeah.
Agnagbari. All right, so let me ask you this then, Joe. I'm not going to ask you to do any film right now because I know you're still, swimming in all the breakdowns that you got to do. We'll save that for next week when things cool off. But just give us your initial takeaways on the moves the Jets have made. What did you see on film when you watched each of these guys?
I'm pretty happy, man. Like, they haven't made like too many big splashes. I would argue that Fitzpatrick is a splash, and we still haven't seen the contract for him. So it could, and I'm assuming it's like 2-year deal, like 2 years. Now the contract's not completely new. Like they didn't tear it up. I think it's kicking in after this year, I believe. But even with that being said, it's probably only like a 2-year deal. So you have him for the next 2 or 3 years, and everything I've seen of, and I'm going to backpedal. What I like in general is that they added a lot of like brute force tough guys, which is great. And they've added really good like guys with communication on their third and second level, which I also like. Fitzpatrick is a known communicator, really smart dude. Davis is a known leader, smart communicator, good dude. So I really like that they're adding some veterans to each level of the ball who could instill Glenn's message. Obviously, you have Fitzpatrick with the he had a time with Miami with some of the coaches we've brought in. You have Demario Davis, who intersected with Glenn with the Saints, and then you have the dude from the Falcons, Anyamata, who was with Glenn as well. So I like that they're bringing leaders at each level of the defense. But individually, Fitzpatrick is he's an uber cerebral type of safety. He's never been like the best mover in even at Bama. Like he was obviously a great athlete or a really good athlete, but he's never been a guy who is going to blow up a combine or anything like that. He's always won with his mind. So I don't think he's going to lose it or fall off of a cliff quickly. And just watching one game, I'm like, damn, dude, some of the things, like some of the routes concepts this guy picks up and identifies, like, and how quickly he does it and his awareness and stuff is very, very good. So I was impressed. Really good tackler as well. So Fitzpatrick for, again, we don't know if it's $13 million a year. It could be the first 2 years being $10-11 million a year, and there's a chunk of money the third year and they get rid of him. So we don't really know what the contract is, but I like him. Davis is obviously a great leader. It's a 2-year, it's $22 million with 15 guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken. So if he really falls off a cliff this year, you could get rid of him and save some money. But if he's solid this year, then $11 million is a good contract for a guy who's as good as he was.
He's a baller, so you'll see it on tape when you watch him. Demario Davis still could play at a really high level.
I've already clipped some plays of him taking on blocks and just absolutely mollywopping guards and stuff. He is stupidly physical. And in zone and stuff, like, yeah, he might have lost his step, but he's really smart from what I've seen so far in just a game. And I have a lot more to go. You're not going to want him in like man coverage on tight ends or anything like that anymore, because he's a little bit more like stiff now at 37 years old, but a really
David
smart
Harris.
Dude. Greatly. Yeah. That's probably a good comparison for him at this point in his career. Like, not a guy you're really going to ask to cover man on man, but in like zone drops and things like that, he's smart enough to get where he needs to be. Osai is a guy, and what I love is the multiplicity of the guys they added up front with Osai, Anyamata, and Agnagbari, however the hell you say the name. Osai, I think, is more, and they all rushed all over. Like there was rush attempts where Osai was playing 1 tech, 5 tech, 3 tech. I think he's mainly in a base, like for the base Jets 3-4 defense. If that's what they're gonna, let's just say it's a base 3-4, because obviously they're gonna play nickel and 3-3-5 and stuff as well. But I think Osai is probably your strong side outside linebacker, and a guy who on certain pass situations can reduce down to like a 4-eye or a 5 tech. So I like that. Anyamata is a guy who could play all the way from 0 tech all the way to 5 tech for the Jets, who is a good run defender and has some pass rush juice to him because he has some good like straight line explosion. And then Agnagbari is a guy who seemingly plays stronger than his weight, 260. I think he's 6'4". Not the best pass rusher in the world, but there is something to his pass rush game, but a really good run defender. And he's a guy who could play 5 tech. He could play outside. They just gave themselves so much multiplicity with their front in terms of like, being able to switch guys in and out for rush downs, for run downs, for base. You can do a lot with this front. I'm not saying any of them are home runs, but they added a lot of versatility, which is awesome.
Look, the coach has superpowers, so now he has some players to use that superpower. I'm excited, man. I really am. Joe Blewett is with us here. Geno Smith is a Jet. We're taking your calls on that. just want to get caught up on some of the super chats here because we've had back-to-back guests here in our emergency live stream. This super chat is from Sam, who says, I think the moves so far are addressing issues from last year. Where are the veteran weapons on offense? I think they're going to either use the trade market for a receiver, or I think they're going to use the draft. I think right now the Jets are set up where they spent in free agency to fix the defense. And Sam, I think pick 16 could be a wide receiver. If not at 16, 33 is in play for a receiver. 44 is in play for a receiver. Wouldn't shock me if the Jets moved up a little bit if there's one of these 3 top receivers that starts to fall and they want to guarantee they get them. That's why you have the extra picks. Would it shock me if the Jets made a call to move up from 16 if they really want Mekhi Lemon and want to guarantee he's theirs, or Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson? I don't think I'd be surprised, Joe. I think they end up taking a receiver with either pick 16 or pick 33, assuming they don't trade up and get a receiver in the first place.
Yeah, gun in my head right now, I would predict they bring in like a receiver 4 right now, because Dobbs he's a 2, a 3 maybe. He's got $20 million a year from the Pats, right? So some of these receiver contracts are absurd. So I don't see them making a splash with. I think Jennings is really the only guy out there who could be like a receiver 2 at this point. So I don't see them making a splash like that. I see them adding some depth potentially in free agency, in like that second, third, fourth wave of free agency, maybe even after the draft. But I think that they're probably locked into Reese at 2, and I've been saying that forever. And I think one of their top 4 picks will be a receiver. 16, I don't love the receivers at 16, but at 33 and 44, seems like there may be some better options. So
did you watch Omar Cooper yet? I'm curious if you have any thoughts.
No, he's my next. That's the guy I've heard the most about from everybody in my streams, your stream, everybody, Cooper. So he's going to be a guy I watch, no doubt. And seemingly he's an option at 16. Some people really like him and say he's receiver 3 or 4. So I still have to watch, again, his tape. I like Concepcion. I think he could be an option at 16. We'll see exactly how the board falls. But I think they add a receiver top 4 picks this year. They sign a receiver 4 just for some depth, because behind A.D. Mitchell, I think is going to be your 3. There's really nothing at 4, 5, or 6. 4, 5, or 6. One of them doesn't have to be Isaiah Williams for he's a receiver and he returns for us. So that's one spot filled out. But I think you need at least 2 depth receivers and then probably receiver 2. So I think you hit that in the draft, probably an interior offensive lineman relatively early. Hopefully they add another one. Receiver 2, I expect to come first 4 picks.
Super chats cut the line. We're getting caught up on that. Then we're going to move to the calls. Ralphie checking in. Maybe if we sign Jenkins, we keep Myers at center since they played next to each other before. I don't hate that theory. I would sign Jenkins because, again, I'm not going into the draft with a glaring hole at one of my guard spots.
Yeah, you need a starter. You just need, like, you can get by with Myers being the worst player in your offensive line, but if you have another player like similar to Myers in your offensive line, I think that's too much of a weak hole, in the middle at left guard and center. So I think you need at least one more starter there. And again, if a situation falls to you where a good free agent's available for lesser than you thought he would be, or you can get it for a cheaper contract than you thought you could, bring him in to compete with Myers if he makes it to that third, fourth wave of free agency, or guy falls to 44 you love or 33 that you love, fine, nab him, or one of the later round picks, you let him compete with Myers. But I'm 100% with you. You have to bring in at least another interior offensive. I'm starting like a capable starter before the draft. Now Jenkins, I'm down with it. I know I've seen from some Packers fans, he struggled a little bit more when he moved in the center. So those fans are at least saying he's better at left guard. So I think it'd be a seamless fit if you brought him in here. He's played next to Myers, but I would still hope for an addition behind Myers to compete with him, if not just outright start in front of him. But I'm definitely down for Jenkins if they're going to spend anywhere. If they're to sign one more guy for the rest of free agency, it needs to be an interior offensive lineman.
I think it's very well said. All right, couple more super chats here. YO says, how many hoes do you all have, and do you have core guys you like moving forward? I know y'all are adding to it. I like rebuilds as a Texans fan, LOL. I would say the core players on this team are the 2 tackles, Olu and obviously Membu. I'd say Tippmann, assuming they extend him, and I think there's interest on both sides to get something done. I think Tippmann's a core player on the offensive line. Garrett is obviously a core player. And then after that, I mean, maybe Mason Taylor could emerge into that, but I wouldn't say he's a core player yet. Brees is year to year. He's on the franchise tag. He's not a core player. Maybe we could argue if Will McDonald has a big year in this scheme, he's someone you want to keep around as a former first-round pick. But I don't know how many quote unquote core players they actually have here. If you think about it, like, I think there's some guys that we like that maybe could develop into that, but like, you know, I can't say that about AZ Thomas, for example, yet, or Mason Taylor. They're just going into their second years.
Yeah, assuming that they're going to extend Tippmann, I think it's like 3 or 4, right? It's Garrett Wilson and the 3 offensive linemen with Fashanu, Tippmann, and Membu. And I do a top 25 every year, and I was going to make it the other day, and the top 10 was pretty sad if you're really going through this roster. Like, I get Briggs had a pretty solid year, but when he's like the 4th or 5th best player in your roster, it's a little bit telling. But I don't think they have like a ton of holes this year going for. I think really the 3 holes that like need to be addressed is with the and maybe it's 2.5 if you consider Myers a starter, but it's interior offensive lineman, receiver. On defense, you could skate by with this. Like, they could add another safety. In my opinion, they should. If a guy falls in the draft, they're getting their contracts available to you that you like. But Belton and Moore competing for the 2nd spot, okay, you know, that's at least something. You know, they filled the linebacker hole next to Sherwood, and then the defensive, like I said, the multiplicity they gives them is awesome. Like, especially with Reese now, if it's a rundown, the beef you can have up front in a 3-4, you could put Reese as a stand-up backer next to Davis and blitz him, and then you got Agnegbari and Osai as your DNs, and then the beef you can have up front with Sweat, Phillips, Briggs, or Onyemata at the end is absurd. So I really like what they did to the front there. I don't think they have to add. So really, it's receiver, offensive lineman and a half that are like absolute needs at this point. So there's not a lot of holes currently.
Long answer, YO, not many core players as of now. But hey,
not many core players.
4 picks in the top 44 could all be core players. 3 picks in the first round in 2027. In all likelihood, if they don't do it this year with Simpson, could be a franchise QB. How about that? Slamming Sammy Joe says, I'd say pick 2 is Reese, pick 16 needs to be Vega. I don't think it needs to be Vega, depending on what they do ahead of the draft and how the board shakes out. I'd say right now, if I'm betting on it and FanDuel has Reese still as the favorite, I think Reese is their pick at 2.
Yeah, if they were to add Bailey, I think you have to trade Will McDonald, especially with how the defense is loading up right now with all like the beef they have up front. I don't think you'd want 2 guys at outside linebacker. Now it would be fun, obviously, on like 3rd and long if you had Bailey and McDonald, but like just from a functionality perspective, like down by down basis, you're not really gonna be able to play them on the field together at all. And there probably will only really be one of them on the field at a time if you were to draft Bailey. So I think you probably have to get rid of McDonald, whereas if you draft Reese, he could play as a Sam on the front side as an outside linebacker. He could also play on the weak side as an outside linebacker as well. So he gives you that flexibility. And you can also stand him up too. Like I said, on some rundowns, if you want to play him at will, take Sherwood out and play him as a linebacker and just tell him to go downhill. I think he'd fit in that role as well. But so I think he's a lock for pick 2 at this point, or pretty damn close to a lock. And then 16, I think the only thing they've done with these signings, and obviously if a guy falls you absolutely love, you can draft them. Like, you know, Onyemata on a 1-year deal or Agnegbari on a 1-year deal is not going to cancel out like a guy like Woods if you absolutely love him. But I think it probably shied them away from a guy like a Woods or like a Keldrick Falk at 16. So my bet right now would be 16's an interior offensive lineman, a receiver. Maybe it's a safety if they like love Thiemann at safety, and they can grab him at 16. And then you have
too
Belton
high for a safety.
I don't think it's too high for a safety, especially if you like him a lot. Now, if you're like a top 10 at safety, okay, obviously that's really, really high for a safety. But if you really like one, like if he's a great player, you know, and that's like the final hole you have on defense, or you feel like that's your final hole on defense, I could see it happening. You know, if he's good and he works out, fine. Like, I'm not going to force a receiver there if a Thiemann's just a better player. Like if Thiemann's an A level safety, and then, you know, you have Concepcion as a receiver, the bigger, you know, he's a bigger priority, but he's like a B level player. Would you take Thiemann, who's the A? So that's all about like the coaching staff and their philosophies in the draft. But right now I would bank on 16 being an interior offensive lineman or a receiver, with a dark horse being a safety. And obviously there's plenty that can happen, but that's just like the feeling currently. But I think Vega would be worth it if he's picked at 16. I do like him.
Shout out to Craig in Australia. Says, mate, Craig in action right now. Craig versus Castro. It's 51-49. This could come down to the wire. Get your votes in.
ASMANIAC Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
Winner will advance to take on David T, who won his matchup against Josh earlier, as we make our way through the inside-outside region. I'm being told Craig will call in and make his case. So shout out to Craig. Craig in Australia, getting up early in the wee hours in the morning to participate in Asmaniac Madness all the way out in Australia. Sean says, who wants me to call in? Sean, we're all waiting for you to call in. We never know what we're going to get with a Sean call. Dan says should have added 14 and 36 for 16 and 33 in the trade. You're not going to get that from the Raiders in the Geno Smith deal. They would just cut him. That's not going to happen. Let Me In says, what's Beningo's reaction to the Geno signing? I have not texted Joe because full transparency, when the Jets signed Geno, I had a thumbnail and a video title ready, and I was in the shower when I got the alert. So I hustled out of the shower, finished the dry off process, sprinted to my computer to get everything fired up so I could be the first Jet YouTube show to be live to react to Geno. So I don't know. I haven't texted anyone. I was texting Joe on the fly as I was trying to do the live show because Joe was supposed to come on at 5. So when I say Joe, I mean Joe Blewett, not Joe Beningo. I will text Beningo and we'll try and get Joe on this week to react to Geno being back. Derek says Geno delivered Darnold to Seattle, Mendoza to the Raiders. Now maybe Arch to the Jets. We can only hope.
Yeah, I think you need to have a really bad coaching job for that to happen, honestly, because I do think they raised the floor of this roster. Like if they win 3 or 4 games, I am not saying that this is a great roster or anything like that, but they've definitely plugged up plenty of holes on defense. So
this shouldn't be the worst team in the NFL.
No, this should be and obviously it's largely dependent on the quarterback, right, and the offense and all of that stuff. But like let's just take quarterback out of the situation, right, which can never really happen. But I feel like they're like a mediocre team. Like they're like a 7 or 8 win team if everybody had Geno Smith as a quarterback, if that makes sense. So they plugged plenty of holes, and like now instead of playing Michael Clemens on a lot of reps, you replaced him with Agnagbari. I think Osai replaces kind of JJ in a way. In terms of like what the roles would be with this 3-4 defense. So yeah, if they win 4 or 5 games, it's clear cut that Glenn should be fired again. I don't think this is a Super Bowl level roster, but it's mid, and mid for us compared to what it was last year, especially on defense, is obviously a huge upgrade.
Play call is my superpower, really.
Let's see. He also was very involved in the recruiting of Geno Smith. Geno told Josina Anderson, Coach Glenn believes in me. He called me, sold me on what they're building, this and that nonsense until we actually see it on the field. We've heard everyone say this in the past and never released anything. But again, Glenn's all in on Geno and trying to fix the defense as the defensive play caller. If Geno stinks, and more importantly, if the defense, which he has control over, is horrific, it's easy to get rid of him. There's no excuse at that point.
Yeah. And I'm a little bit worried with how this defense is going to create sacks, because I don't think all these guys are the best pass rush. Like there's not a lot of good pass rush with this group. Now he does rely a little bit on blitzes, so you're hoping some of his creativity gets involved and he could get home with blitzes. Now it didn't work out last year. They were super predictable, so we'll see if he takes a massive leap there this year, actually calling plays. But if this is a bad run defense, we have serious issues because Fitzpatrick is a very good tackler. Everything I've seen and heard from Belton is he's a very good tackler as well. And to me right now, he should be the starter at strong safety over Malachi Moore. I know a lot of people like Malachi Moore for whatever reason, but when he came in last year, he's not very good. So I would pencil in Belton as a starter. He's a good tackler. Really, the weakest tackler on the front is Sherwood, but past that, Davis, good tackler. Osai, Anyamata, Agnagbari, all good tacklers. Reese, if he joins here, good tackler. So like they should at least be a very good run defense. And we'll see if he can get home with some of the creative blitzes that'll have up his sleeve.
Uno says, Jake, after learning about Geno coming back, all I have to say is put me in the raffle. You're in for 2. We're going to give away a signed Wayne Krebet jersey at the end of today's show. So shout out to everyone who's already entered. I saw this post from Geno Smith on Instagram. He posted, I'll be back. Well, it turns out the date of this post is from August of 2015.
This is when he got punched.
That is exactly
okay
when he got punched.
Yeah.
So Geno was right. He'll be back all right. We just needed to wait about a decade and change for him to be back as the Jet quarterback.
Yeah, I don't have the best memory with a lot of things, but there's little stupid things. Like as soon as you pulled it up, I'm pretty sure that's right after he got punched because that's like ingrained in my memory when all that was going on. So yeah, man. Hey, let's hope for 2015 Fitz, or obviously better than that. But if that's what he gives us, obviously it'd be a great year for him. Am I actually expecting that? Probably not, but we can all hope.
The Fitzpatrick year. That's what we're looking for. How ironic that we're looking for the year that we got when Geno Smith got punched out by his own teammate and was unavailable to start with that team that had Decker, Brandon Marshall. Chris Ivory, Nick Mangold, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, Willie Colon. They still had some players on that
The
team.
Sons of Anarchy, right? I think that's the Sons of Anarchy years and some of those as well.
Yeah. Carl Dunbar was our D-line coach then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He has a better offensive line. I think he has, Garrett Wilson clears anybody that was on the Raiders roster last year. So hopefully they continue to add to the offense. And again, 25 touchdowns, high 3,000 yards, 15 picks, a little bit more ball control type of offense. And I would sign the dotted line for that right now, even though, again, I'm not necessarily expecting that.
Dave says, Jake excited for Geno is wild. You know what's amazing? Someone just sent me a couple comments on Reddit on like how negative I am about Geno. And now I have a guy saying I'm excited for Geno. What do you people want me to say? All right. He's not very good. Is he better than some of the other options we discussed? Probably. Am I going to be giddy about Geno? No. But now someone's saying I'm excited about it. What do you want me to do? All right. I talk about this team for 4 hours a day. I want Geno to be awesome. Do I think he will be? Probably not. But what am I supposed to say to this? Like, I get something on too negative. Now I'm excited for Geno. How am I excited about Geno? I'm the one telling you, I hope he proves me wrong, but I don't think he's very good. He's thrown 32 picks the last 2 years.
Well, no, it's hilarious. I was going to bring that up actually soon. I was planning on bringing it up soon, but I was on Twitter. I was like, oh my God, they attack defense in this free agency. Like, then people were like, you're being too positive. This isn't a great defense, but I'm usually known as too negative. So if you're positive about something, you're too positive. If you're negative about something, you're an asshole. You're too negative. You can never win with Jets fans, especially on Twitter. I feel like YouTube's a little bit better. But I don't think you're excited for Geno. I don't think I'm excited for Geno. I was expecting to be lukewarm with whoever they brought in, and I'm lukewarm on Geno, and I'm hoping for the best because I'm a Jets fan, but probably expecting the worst with Geno when we get 5 wins.
I'm just excited to recreate my picture from 2013 with Eugene when I gave him the high five of his life before Jets Browns.
Dude, I think it was his uncle. I went to that draft where he was drafted. That was 2013. That's the year we got Richardson and Milner. And I think it was EJ Manuel's uncle who was in front of me. Like, they were trying to talk shit about Geno and stuff because they wanted EJ Manuel to be first. So I've been in the same building as Geno, but never that close necessarily.
Gino Smith and I have touched hands, and that's all we've touched, you sickos out there. I already see some of the chats. NYC says, not a fan of Vinny either. This is in reference to Frankie V earlier. NYC, appreciate it. I'm just trying to catch up on the super chats. Robin says, does the D-line signings change styles to our pick? I think you and I agree. No way. I think they're going to take Reese, and if it's not Reese, it's Bailey at 2, right?
Yeah, I really don't even think Bailey's going to be in consideration. That's just me personally. I know Sabo has gone on like a big diatribe about hating Bailey and some of the. I think he put up like a YouTube video like he's soft. I was like, wow, that's a little bit aggressive. So Sabo really doesn't like him. But
Sabo's annoyed that Frankie V is going after Reese.
Okay.
So Sabo's counter is, let me go after Bailey. I'm going to get the two of them on the show for an old-fashioned film off, and it's not going to quite be like a P. Diddy freak off, but the film off will be legal on YouTube as Robbie and Frankie try and break down film on each other's players that they don't like.
That doesn't excite most people, but that excites me for obvious reasons. But yeah, Styles would only fit in this defense if you got rid of Sherwood. So you'd have to get rid. And I'm not saying that Sherwood should impede you from drafting Styles if you really, really liked him, but just making a point. If you picked up Styles, you'd have to get rid of Sherwood at this point. So I think Reese fits because he could play literally anywhere in this defense. He could be a Will standing up on certain rundowns. He could be the Sam on the front side. He could be the Jack on the backside as a 3-4. So he offers you so much versatility, and like he'd really feel like the final type of like piece to this defense.
Touching hands and film offs getting wild.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
See, this is what Geno Smith does to a fan base, folks. He's back. Eugene is back. Frankie says, could Geno end up being better than Willis? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, sure. We don't know what Malik Willis is.
Yeah, exactly. You have no idea what he is. So he could be an outright bust of a signing. He could be like Matt Flynn level, right? I don't know if Matt Flynn, he might have even thrown more passes than Malik Willis did. I'm not sure. That was obviously quite a few years ago. But yeah, he could be horrific. So you have no idea. He had a little bit less than I was expecting. I wasn't necessarily in the Will, or didn't want the Jets to be in the Willis sweepstakes, and that is one of the benefits of Geno, right? Like, you're looking towards the positive. Geno at $1.2 million better than Kirk Cousins at 25. So the price is obviously one of the main benefits of Geno.
Super chat from Derek. Geno delivered I think I read that one already. I'm trying to get caught up in the super chats. Did I miss anything here? Jets Worldwide. There we go. Question for Joe. Do these pickups lend themselves to a modern defense, or is it old school football again?
I don't think it's necessarily modern or old school. Like everybody has their different systems and things like that. It offers you multiplicity, but yeah, it's not modern or old school. It's just it's what Glenn likes to do. I don't think it's old school.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to gift a membership right now. 5 memberships. I'm going to do it shortly. We only have 7 gifted memberships. I've been on for nearly 3 hours. So I'm going to make 5 of you channel members, and I'll enter you in the Wayne Corbett jersey raffle at the end of the show and our weekly raffle. So I'm going to give 5 memberships, but for you to get one, you have to be subscribed to the channel, like the video, and let's see if the YouTube algorithm will favor you. Here's how you can increase your chances of getting a membership. Comment, are you on board with the Geno signing? Yay or nay? Write it in the chat, and that will help your odds of getting a membership. Some super chats here, and then we'll get to the calls. Doc says, O-lineman, #1 priority in free agency right now. Don't move Tippmann off his best position at right guard. Agreed. I think in a perfect world, Tippmann stays where he is, and you let him keep doing what he did last year.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit better than he was at center. To me, for my money, and people are going to disagree with this, and that's fine, but I just watched all these guys in their entire seasons and going to do full-blown reviews. I think Tippmann's actually your second best offensive lineman right now, behind Membu, and then Fashion is probably your third. So, yeah, I wouldn't screw with Tippmann anymore, and center guard, and all of that stuff. So he was definitely a solid right guard. And I'm with Doc Jet fan that he's the #1, that O-line is the #1 need right now, and I would say receiver is #2, and then offensive line again is #3.
Doc Jet fan with a follow-up super chat. Joe, from what you've seen of the receiver class, is there anyone worth trading up to 7, pick trading 16 and 33 or 44, Lemon or Tate? So basically, Jets are at 16.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to use 33 or 44 for a trade up for either of those players if you had to come up to, say, 7?
Yeah, 33 would be maybe a little bit too much for me, and I don't think you have to trade 33. To me, the exact names he mentioned, Lemon and Tate, are both guys who I really like, who are my #1 and 2. Again, I think there's a large drop off of talent as when you get to probably 11 or 12, or the 11th or 12th player in this draft. So yeah, if you could secure a receiver 2 with pick 44, I am super with that. Whether it be Lemon or Tate, I would wait for one of those guys to be off the board and trade up for the other one. So yeah, if you package 16 and 44 and you landed, especially Tate, I like Tate a little bit more than Lemon, but even Lemon, that would be an absolute slam dunk.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. This one's from Matt Shaw, who says, Geno's horrible. But what do you think of the Nan Wright signing? Nice to see more length on the defense. Look, this guy was a ball hawk last year. 5 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries. He comes over from the Bears defense, which led the NFL in takeaways, for what, $6 million total if he hits all the incentives. That's a really good value signing to put him in that room with Brownlee, with Azaria Thomas, with Brandon Stevens. I like that signing a lot. I texted someone who covers the Bears. I go, what do I need to know? He wrote, ball hawk, sometimes gets beat, but will make plays. I'm like, okay, that's perfect for a 1-year deal.
Yeah, I still have to watch Belton, Wright, and Geno. I was scrambling today. That's why I was trying to push it back to 5 so I can get as much watching of these guys
Next week,
as I
let's
could.
do Geno, by the way. We'll do a full, all-encompassing breakdown on Geno, and do we have any hope?
Got you. Yeah. We'll hit these guys for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll transition back into the draft as that gets closer. But Wright he gives you depth at the corner spot. And I think really at corner right now, it should be a 3-way competition for 2 spots, right? And now you have Stiggers as your 5, which is great. Whoever loses the battle is your 4. You have Brownlee as the slot right now, who, like I said before, with the run defense, everybody on the front 7 is a good tackler, minus Sherwood. And then everybody outside of that at corner are also good tacklers. Steven's a very willing tackler. If anything, there's obviously sometimes he gets beat and stuff like that, but a very willing tackler. A.Z. Thomas, willing tackler. Brownlee, willing tackler. Wright has good size, right? 6'4", 200. And what I've heard, he's willing as well. So he could be corner 1, he could be corner 2, or he's great depth at corner 4. And I thought I saw the contract was worth up to 5.5, and that's with, I don't know if it's playtime incentives or whatever the hell it is, interceptions, whatever that incentive is, but it gives you great depth and a guy who can could potentially push out AZ or Stevens after a career year. And I think he had 11 pass deflections too, so not even just 5 picks, but 11 PDs is really impressive.
Yeah, his numbers are way better than you would think. So I'm right there with you. He had full stats here. I wrote it down. 5 picks, 11 PBUs, 2 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and 80 tackles. Made the Pro Bowl. Like that's a good year. Really good year.
Yeah, I could see him beating out either one of those guys. You obviously hope that AZ beats out one of those guys just because of the age, but he's 27 years old. So I'm hoping AZ starts and it's Wright versus Stevens for that other starter spot.
Meadowland Swamp Thing, edge at 2, interior O-line at 16, QB at 33. This is one of the possible outcomes. Again, I just don't love the idea of having to take a guard at 16. I don't love the value there. I think you could do better than taking an interior offensive lineman with a 16th overall pick in the draft.
Yeah, I would say give yourself flexibility at 16, so get that interior offensive lineman. And then 33, I don't think that Simpson makes it at this point, and I don't think there's anybody else worth taking at 33. Maybe the never-ending saga of Trinidad Chambliss. Like they're apparently now the NCAA is appealing the decision again, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen with that. Maybe he would be one you'd consider at 33. For me, that might even be a little bit too high for Chambliss, but he might be elevated because of how bad the class is. But I don't think a quarterback at 33 something there's going to be anybody there that's worth taking. And interior O-line, fine. If Vega's there and you love them and you get like a Jenkins, okay, but I don't want to be forced into that position, just like you said, Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael with a super chat. Matt Snell passed. There goes our only scorer in the Super Bowl other than Jim Turner. We did talk about this earlier for those tuning in. Very sad, but condolences, of course, to the family of Matt Snell, the Jet legend and Super Bowl III hero who scored the only touchdown of Super Bowl III. He passed away at his home on Long Island. He was 84 years old. So obviously RIP to one of the all-time great Jets, a member of their Ring of Honor. And of course, the only person who could say, Joe, scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl for the New York Jets.
Yeah, 84 years old. So lived a solidly long life, especially for a football player. So that's great. And I know a lot of old timers are they argue that he should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl that year. So yeah, RIP. Thank you for helping the Jets win their only Super Bowl.
Let's see here. I wanted to get 5 memberships. I'm going to do that coming up. Joe, you got time for a couple calls?
Yep.
Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. First up on the Gusbuster Hotline, the segment's Party with Peg and Artie. Hello, Peg and Artie.
Hey, Jake, Joe, Asmaniacs, how's everybody doing today?
What's up, Artie?
Hey, Lou B really loves love. Is there any chance this guy's going to go second? You don't think the Jets would take a running back, right?
No, especially with Brees on a franchise tag. You have $14 million and a number 2 overall pick on Love. That's obviously investing way too much into that position.
Yeah, I kind of like the out of the box type thinking, but Arvell Reese has got to be the second pick.
Yeah. Like I said, with the multiplicity he gives you your front, I think he's a lock at this point. With McDonald and Bailey, like they're relatively similar players. I think Bailey's more physical and can be better in the run, but I don't think you're going to get them both in the field at the same time. So you have 2 first-round picks kind of competing for playing time. It just doesn't make sense. And I'm not at the point where I'm willing to give up on Will McDonald either. So I'd rather have the guy in Reese who offers more, and at the same time not give up on Will McDonald.
And Bailey's like a one-trick pony, right? I mean, he's not going to help with the run. I mean, he's a good one-trick pony, but I mean, that's really all he is a get the quarterback guy, right? He's not going to do anything else.
Yeah, he's a little bit more willing in the run than a Will McDonald, but you don't want him as like a strong side linebacker, so he's basically going to be forced into playing the backside, which if you're going to get Will McDonald on the field, that's where he's going to be. So he offers a little bit more, but even Texas Tech at times, they would put him on the bench for certain run situations, so they didn't have a ton of faith in him. And Sabo's been really hitting it. He's a little bit selfish in the run game, or he's a little bit boomer busty, but he doesn't play within the structure of the defense necessarily, so you can hurt your run defense, even though it doesn't like pop out to some people at times. But I don't think Bailey's in consideration at 2 anymore.
I think we're a house divided, Jake. I'm for Gino. Peg, what do you think of Gino? Peg's not for Gino.
That's what Peg is saying. Gino.
Yeah, she wanted Cousins or Carr. I think Gino is fine. I mean, really, what are we talking about? It's not like any of them are great choices. This is really all about next year anyway. Or if they decide to get lucky and draft somebody this year and he pans out. But I mean, even everybody wants to talk about Arch. Everybody forgets we're the New York Jets. We draft Arch. He'll be the 6 rings of Mannings. He'll be a piece of shit anyway, probably. So I mean, what are you gonna do?
You gotta try, Peg. You gotta try, Artie.
And I just want to make one more point, Jake, and I'll let you go. Peter Castro is an American patriot. I see a lot of pull for Craig, who is a fantastic gentleman. But Peter Castro is the American dream. Vote Peter Castro.
Wow, what a ringing endorsement.
Asmaniac Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
America, what a country. Patriotism, that's what's on the line here, according to Artie. Unbelievable.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yours truly has just gifted 5 channel memberships, and they went to the following: Brian Scantleberry, Kevin Pro, Sean Gang for Life, Michael Navarro, and Jack Nucker 6275, all receiving a gifted membership from yours truly. So we'll put you in the Asmaniac raffle. Do a couple more calls with Joe. I'll stay on for the rest. We're at the 3-hour mark. It never ends on this channel. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't. We're the only Jet show that's giving you 6 hours of streaming per day this whole week, what feels like a free agency. NYJ says, Matt Snell, live on. Amen to that. More of your calls right now. Australian Jets fan has called in, and let's say hello to him because he's from Australia. Hello, Australian Jets fan.
Hey, Jake. I hope you're doing well. First of all, rest in peace to Matt Snell. And then also, you know, I like Peter Castro, and I probably would have voted for him if he was going up against most other people than Craig. But like Artie, I'm patriotic about my country. Even if I'm not a fan of the current Australian government, I still love Australia. So I will be voting for Craig today. And I hope that, you know, I can help him get over the line.
I'm about to sound like a robot. I just heard a glitch in my headset. Let me ask you this before I have to reset my stream here, because I already could tell what's happening here. Who's the better Australian, you or Craig?
I'm not going to answer that question. But I will talk about Geno Smith.
What a segue. All right. You have to answer the question.
I know people, I mean, realistically, after last year, signing Geno Smith is going to get a whole lot of reactions. But, you know, there were people that were calling him a top 10 quarterback his last year on the Seahawks. I'm not saying that the Jets are going to be good or anything, but I really think that he's not going to be as bad as he was on the Raiders with us.
I do think it'll be better, AJF. Good call. But here's the thing. What if he just lost it? He's turning 36. He's thrown 32 picks to last year's. He was not great that last year in Seattle. That's why they moved on from him. Like, if he was still playing like a top 10 quarterback, they wouldn't have pivoted to Sam Darnold.
Yeah, and apparently he's losing some of his mobility too, which is one of the upsides of his game. And he's already struggled a little bit with like accuracy and stuff on the move. So you never know when that like true fall off is coming. And obviously for Geno, maybe it started last year and he's just even worse this year. So at least it's going to be fun though with Geno, right? Like he's maybe he's good and there's like that redemption arc, and that's going to be fun, or he absolutely sucks and he's flipping off fans at MetLife. So I think there's some volatility there, and I think either side of that volatility, it'll be fun at the minimum.
It does add a little intrigue as far as storylines with any of the journeyman mid options they signed. I just truly hope the backup is someone that offers some sort of unknown or upside, something.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, that's with Wentz, there's nothing there. So at least if Taylor Green is brought in, like, okay, you can convince yourself, big quarterback arm, you can run and all that stuff. Or with Carr, like maybe he rewinds father time a little bit. But yeah, I'm with you. Wentz would be super uninspiring.
Vote in Asmaniac Madness. I need to do a quick reset here. So Joe, I'm going to give you a caller that you can handle and give me 30 seconds to figure some things out.
He's pointing. Garrett Box, point at you. Garrett Box, he point at you. Garrett Box, I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. Garrett Box, point at you. I point.
This is a weird spot. You're in the captain's seat there, Joe. How's that feel?
I'm not used to it. With 900 people watching, I'm not used to this. So let's see if I can handle it for a minute.
So my wife is a Bears fan, right? And she's in Arizona with her mother, right? And she just texted me, Geno Smith, ? LOL. Like, and I look at it, I was pissed and I was livid. But then when you actually look at it, they didn't give anything up to get him. Like, the worst case scenario is he's a backup quarterback. Okay, so you swapped a 7 and a 6 to get your backup quarterback. Is that so bad? Like, I mean,
Yeah, exactly too. And like how many wins is Kirk Cousins going to get you than Geno, right? Like Geno's of maybe a 5-win quarterback, and with Cousins you're like 6 or 7, but you're also saving about $24-25 million. At least apparently with what Kirk Cousins is reportedly asking for. So, I don't see it as something that's so awful. But it is, it is what it is.
It is LOL Jets. It's Geno Smith. It didn't work out here, and now they're bringing back the whole. If we need another DM, we could get Sheldon Richardson. We're gonna bring Muhammad. I mean, they're bringing back the whole 2013 team. Is this what we're doing? Is this the plan?
IK Manapali just signed a 1-year deal with the Jets.
Is Mike DeVito? Is Mike
Keep him in
DeVito
check.
available? Yeah.
I love Mike DeVito. We gotta get Mike back on the show. He was one of my favorite interviews we did a few years ago.
Speaking of a reunion, we got Osai, and I wanted to ask you about him. And we got Sweat. We're bringing back the 2020 Longhorns. Can we get Sam Ellinger in the quarterback room? We need another quarterback. Ellinger went to Denver. They can make quarterbacks there. I say it's worth a shot as a third string. Can we get Ellinger in the room?
What's Vince Young up to? Colt McCoy.
He wasn't on the 2020 Longhorns, but Vince Young would be better than Justin Fields. Right now, Vince Young at 43 is better than Justin Fields. Book it.
Is Vince Young still fat?
Well, yeah, he goes to every. I mean, he's on the sidelines for pretty much every Longhorns game, every home game at least. He's still, he's fat. He's fat. Still smoked the greatest college football team ever by himself, single-handed. Imagine if they would have had Peterson on that team. Could you imagine that? Peterson was committed to go there, and then he asked Mac if he was going to start. He's like, I just want to make sure I'm going to start. He's like, no, we have Benson, but you can compete for the number 2 spot. And Peterson's like, oh, okay, cool. And the next day he signed with Oklahoma. Could you imagine Peterson on that team? God. But I digress on that. Everyone wanted Cousins, and I agree Cousins is better. And then Brissett's the other guy. You guys ever look at Brissett's record the last 4 years compared to Geno Smith's? Like, Brissett's not any better than
Who
Geno
played better
Smith.
last year, though? Brissett was pretty good on a
They were
bad
both
team last
terrible.
year.
I didn't really watch too much of the Cardinals. So I'm not gonna, they were 1-11. I didn't watch too much of the Cardinals last year. So I'm not gonna.
He was like top 10 in EPA though. Like he was better than like what their record with him would show. Again, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it.
If I wanted to argue for Geno, I could say he's thrown for 4,000 yards twice in the last 4 years. Which
and I could say he's thrown 32 picks the last 2 years too.
You know how much I care about interceptions. I care about interceptions like not at all. Like
yeah, but he didn't throw enough touchdowns to justify the amount of interceptions.
That's fair. That's the lack of touchdowns is the stat that would concern me. The lack of offensive production, not the interceptions. Like, that happens. Let your hands go. It happens. I did want to ask you about Osai. Right, that's my guy. I loved him at Texas. They're telling me like he's a pass rusher. Is he like? I haven't watched him much in the NFL, but in college he was a run stuffer. That's what he was there for. I mean, he could at that level against the Big 12, he could get on the quarterback, but that wasn't his strength. How does he pan out here with the Jets?
Yeah, so I want to watch a little bit. I've only watched one game transparently, so I have to watch another 14 games on him, and then I'll have a more extensive review on him. But I think he had 5. Was it 5? Jake, correct me if I'm wrong. 5 sacks this year, 5 sacks the year prior, I believe, with Osai. And there's some Bengal fans out there. I forget one of the popular ones on Twitter. I saw him saying that he thinks that his pass rush ceiling is even higher than it's been. So I think he's kind of a guy like JJ in terms of he's a really good run defender, or he's a solid run defender, and he offers you 5 to 10 sacks. Most of them are effort sacks, but from what I've seen, he has good, like some of my notes about him, some good length, motor, violent, plays with his length well, decent speed, first step. And the thing I was surprised about with Osai too is like I was hearing he's playing outside a lot, but there's actually some reps he was playing like 3 tech and even over the center at times as well. So he's a guy who can rush up and down your line, which again offers him that versatility. So I think he's your JJ replacement in terms of like he's a little bit more stout, than JJ in terms of his size. And I think JJ has a little bit more like bend and explosion than a guy like Osai, but Osai's pass rush moves are a little bit more nuanced to me. So you're looking at a JJ type of player and role with him. He's just a little bit bigger and I think a little bit more nuanced as a rusher. So I think he might have a little bit higher of an upside there.
Do you think he can be as good as JJ is when JJ's healthy? I mean, do you think there's that kind of upside? He's still relatively young. I mean, he's not old. And
JJ's best year, he had 7 sacks, right?
Yeah.
So I see Osai. He can get 7-8 sacks in a year. Like I said, I don't think he's as bursty or as bendy. I'm not even saying that JJ is. He's a little bit less of an athlete, but more of a technician. So he wins with accuracy and hand timing and things like that. And he's more stout in the run. JJ disappointed me a little bit last year. He got thrown around in the run game more by tight ends more than he ever has. And obviously maybe that's a part of like him losing weight or being confident in the foot or the Achilles or whatever it is. But I think Osai is he's a younger JJ light type of player, right? Because JJ is 27, 28 years old, I believe. Yeah. Osai is 25.
Probably, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say probably close to the same age, but is JJ actually a couple of years old? Because JJ
I think he's 2 or 3 years. He's 2 or 3 years younger, and you have him on
for 3 years. JJ was in college for like 5, I think, right? So yeah.
Yeah, and JJ was like a 24-year-old rookie, right? So I think JJ is 27 or 28, if I'm not mistaken. So you get a younger player who is obviously healthier than JJ. JJ, you're worried about the Achilles, and he's a little more technically savvy.
And then Jake, if Hofstra wins today, they're in, baby. Is Hofstra going to win today?
Who are they playing in the conference championship?
Monmouth, the 5 seed in the conference, who upset everybody to get there. So I mean, you couldn't ask for a better situation.
Where's the game? Is it at Hofstra?
No, it's in DC. It's the CCA tournament. It's a CAA tournament. It's in DC.
Monmouth is like probably 25 minutes from me.
It's a neutral site game. Their freshman banked in a 3 at the buzzer in overtime for Hofstra to win from Deer Park, Long Island. Wally Zerbiak was going nuts.
Let's go, baby. Long Island. Go Hofstra. Go Pride. All right, Gary?
All right. Shout out, Jake. Appreciate your time, Joe. Appreciate your time, Jake.
Yeah, have a good one, Gary.
Gary 3D Boxing checking in. Joe, you got time for one more call?
Yep, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Joe another 1 seed. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is the number 1 overall seed.
I got to tell you, I'm a little surprised by the outrage of the fans towards Geno Smith. What did they expect? It is a cavalcade of bad options. We knew that going in.
Yep.
And this coach he's looking just to get someone who's been a starter before so he can eke his way to 7 or 8 wins and save his job. That's what's happening here in real time in front of us, right?
Does anyone doubt the best chance to do it over, say, Carr, Cousins, trade for Brissett? Like, that's the only other argument. Like, again, I don't think it really matters at the end of the day because I don't believe in the head coach is any good. So I don't think it's going to matter in the grand scheme of things. But like, that's the only argument for those who want to believe in Glenn. Hey, would there have been a better quarterback choice that would help him?
There might be an argument that you can build the best team around Geno at the price you can get Geno, right? Like, you bring in all these other guys and you're elevating the defense, and you go get him a bunch of weapons in the draft, and you get Reese, and you roll out the footballs, and maybe that gets you to 7 or 8 wins, and then Glenn buys himself another year if they're competitive. But that's what we're dealing with here. I think on the earlier Doc had used the term, a bridge quarterback. I prefer the term placeholder, and that's all you're dealing with this free agent and draft class. Because I shouldn't say that for the draft class. Like, there's some people that believe that Simpson might have a future, and most people believe that he should at least be a backup in the league. But like, if you're not getting Mendoza, you're not getting your quarterback in this draft. That's I mean, I think we're all resigned to it, and we've been resigned to it for weeks, right? So, the one thing I want to say about the 16th pick, since it does look like it's going to be Risa too, we should take the best in class at a position of need, and I think that means either taking the best slot receiver, that would be Lemon if he's there, taking Sadiq if he happened to be there, which I don't think increasingly that he will be. He's the best tight end. Or take Vega Ioane. It's Vega Ioane, I think is the pronunciation. He's the best guard in the class. There's no shame in taking a guard in the middle of the first round if he's the best player on the board. And, there's some people, and McShay happens to be one of them, that thinks he's the best guard he's seen since Quentin Nelson. So, like, I don't know what to like. The people who are anti-guard, I kind of get it, but the Matt Slausens that you get in round 5 are few and far between.
But aren't there guys in the second? I haven't done enough on the guards for 33 and 44. Like, I have a tough time spending a top 16 pick on a guard when we've already spent first round picks on our tackles. We have a high second round pick at center / guard and Tippmann. I just rather a receiver. Again, if there's no one there and Vega's clearly the best player, fine. But it just feels like taking a guard at 16. It's like, oh, we didn't address it in free agency, so we'll just do it in the draft. That just kind of feels lazy.
My personal feeling, I don't know how Joe feels about it, is we should be in the business of procuring good football players. And, I don't know that, Denzel Boston or Casey Concepcion is a better player at 16 than Vega, like that would be my point. I don't want to reach for someone. We should be getting
trade back. Hopefully they can find a trade partner. Maybe someone else values that guard.
I'm a little hesitant with that too, because I feel like there's only about 17, 18, 19 guys in this draft that really truly are first round grade type guys from what I've been reading. So, and maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe if you can get, a later first rounder and, get a cavalcade of other picks, that it would be worth it. But I think you stick and pick in the first round, and then you use that 33rd pick to kind of see if you can round out the roster by trading back. That's my feeling on it right now.
That's going to be Ty Simpson. So get ready, Kyle.
We can only hope. Thanks, guys.
Kyle Clifton, everybody.
Jets, Jets.
Mr. Joe Blewett, I appreciate you hopping on. Great job. Appreciate the impromptu. I'm texting you on the side as I'm trying to do a breaking news show. So thanks for your flexibility. And next week we'll do some Geno and some other free agent they signed film before getting heavy back into the draft.
Yeah, we have a lot to do. Great call from Mr. Clifton. So please do not disappoint me, Mr. Clifton, because I do have you winning the ASMANIAC tournament. So keep bringing it. And I agree with him. Like, just quickly, the Geno thing. Kirk Cousins maybe gets you another win or two. Maybe the ceiling's a little bit higher with Geno, you can argue, if he rewinds the clock to 2 years ago and he's getting over 4,000 yards. So I don't mind it, especially for the money. And then in terms of 16, just quickly, again, it's for me, if you like, I prefer the receiver, type at 16, but like you said, if Concepcion is like a B level player and Vega is an A, then I'm okay with dipping into the guard pool. But obviously it's dependent on who falls to 16, but hopefully they get another interior offensive lineman that gives them the flexibility. And yeah, in terms of the film, we'll have a lot more next week. I'll do a breakdown on Geno and whoever else in the coming weeks. My wife's getting mad at me today. I'm like walking around with a computer in one arm, a baby in the other hand, trying to get all this done right now. So that's what I'll be doing for the next probably 10 hours or so.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. I'm going to stay on for the rest because we're going to let Joe Blewett go handle being a dad. He's got a newborn. Joe, God bless you, man. I don't know how you're balancing all the film breakdowns with everything you got going on, but thanks for your time as always.
Not well. I'm not doing it well. But I'll see you next week, Jake.
Joe Blewett with us. Good spot with him. All right, we got more calls to get into here. By the way, how was Kyle Clifton not calling from the great outdoors today? Most beautiful day we've had in New York in months. 70 degrees today. I was walking around Central Park. I couldn't believe it. Mike DeRamo says, Kyle, it's beautiful outside. Why are you inside? Amanda Madison wrote in, go touch grass, Kyle. It's nice out. Frankie says, Mendoza is not only a good quarterback, is not the only good quarterback in 2026. Bet on that. So which quarterback then do you think is also going to be good from this draft class then, Frankie? You can't just say Mendoza's not the only one. You got to tell me who. You think Ty Simpson could be that guy? I like Ty. I'm a little wary of him only having 15 career starts, so I wouldn't take him in round 1. But I think it's a worthwhile risk for the Jets to draft Ty with one of their second-round picks. I'd be okay with it. Speaking of Ty Simpson, I cannot wait to watch this whenever Barstool posts it. John Gruden's doing his quarterback series again, but he's doing it with Barstool. And he had Simpson in the Gruden quarterback factory down in Tampa where Gruden lives. So I cannot wait to watch this because I think this will be awesome. Gruden wrote, "What an awesome day with Alabama's Ty Simpson for our third quarterback class of the year. Ty is a CEO in the film room and on the field with a strong arm and quick mind, a future star right here." This photo is notable for a couple reasons. What if the Jets do take Ty? And what if it's like Jackson Dart? He plays well, but the coach still gets fired. We know the Jets were interested in hiring John Gruden to their coaching staff. If you're going to hire John Gruden, who's suing the NFL, you got to run that by Woody Johnson if you're Aaron Glenn. What if all of a sudden, a year from now, Glenn fails, but Simpson looks okay like Dart? Then all of a sudden, is John Gruden coming on board as the Jet head coach?
It's J-E-T-S, Jets. I love Fireman Ed, too.
We know John Gruden could do the Jet chant.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
Jet fans are all over. And right now in Asmaniac Madness, we got quite the battle going on between the 5 seed, Peter Castro, and the 12 seed, Craig in Australia. We heard from Peter earlier. Right now it is 51-49. Castro with the narrow lead. Over 1,000 votes have been cast during this episode. And ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now live from Australia is Craig from Australia. Hello, Craig.
Mate, how you going? You having a good day?
Craig, it's been a magical day. Geno Smith is coming back to the Jets. What's better than that?
I'm in the camp that it's all bad. Like it doesn't really matter, him, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, whatever. It's all bad, but it's all about expectations, right? So I can't be disappointed this season coming up, but I can be made to be happy because not once, but twice, I'll be back in the USA this year. And 2 months to the day, I've just booked my flights. 2 months to the day, I'll be landing in DC, hanging out at a conference for the weekend. And then I'm going to rent a car, mate, as you know I do. And I'm going to drive through Baltimore, through Philadelphia, all the way to Manhattan. And I'm going to see all my mates in New Jersey and wherever else they may be on the way through. So I'm keen. And then me and Mrs. Craig will be back in September, and we'll be planning that trip around a gather, a big meetup, a tailgate at MetLife. That's the plan.
Love it, Craig. Can't wait to see you. It's amazing how often you get a chance to still visit the US, and I look forward to it every time.
It's pure brutality, I can tell you. These flights, 30 hours each way, is a killer. But we love the USA. I've got my American flag out the back at my house that we had delivered from the 9/11 museum, and it flew over Ground Zero on the 25th of October last year. So she's always out there, and I even bring her in when the weather's bad. So yeah, we love the USA. We love our American friends, and I love Peter Castro. I've got to tell you, this is a tough one. I could easily vote for Peter Castro myself. And if he gets up, it couldn't happen to a better bloke. I'm telling you, I'm more than happy for him. But it worked. Thanks for doing this on show too, so I could call in. I do appreciate it, and it's worked out because I'm on the road, heading down south, and it's give me a chance to call. And have you checked in on my hood? Is everything all right in the kitchen?
Everything is fantastic in Hell's Kitchen, and the people of Hell's Kitchen, they're asking every day, "Where's Craig?" I'm like, "He's on his way. Don't worry."
Mate, when we invaded in September last year with all 4 of our kids, the place has never been the same. My son, Austin, he ate all the pepperoni pizza in Hell's Kitchen that he could find. He absolutely loved it. So we just talked about maybe doing it all again in September next year. All the kids have got jobs and stuff. So I'm like, we could do this again. You got to pay your own flights though, so save the money. And they're keen. They're motivated. They love the city, and they love the USA. They love Americans. We've converted them. This is what I do. I'm a salesperson after all.
Craig, you're the man. I can't wait to see you, and good luck, man. This is 51-49. I mean, we could get overtime. We had overtime, at least twice, I think, in the tournament a year ago. We could get OT here, our first of the 2026 tournament.
I'm gonna have to hit the phones, mate. Get the votes going. I think I made all my kids and everyone I know, basically, even random people, sub last year when I was up against Sarah. I mean, to be fair to me, I couldn't lose to Sarah. I can't lose to the simp vote. Unacceptable.
Maybe you could get Sarah to call in on your behalf. That might swing some votes.
I'll tell you the craziest thing, man. I'm on the way down to a southern hospital to head to the OR, and Sarah calls me before, and she goes, "You going to this case?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "So am I." And I said, she goes, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm on such and such a road." And so she's like 3 cars behind me, or something crazy like that. That would only happen in Adelaide.
Amazing.
Everything's a competition, mate, and I have to get there first. She can't beat me. It's not going to happen.
Craig, you're the man.
All right, mate. Look after yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, Craig in Australia.
Maniac Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
Vote, vote, vote. This baby is close. 51-49. Peter Castro with the slight lead. Great call by Craig there. You knew he'd bring it. Indy Jet says, if Gino can win 10 games in Seattle, why not here? Couple reasons. One, Gino's a few years older now. He was awful last year, so how much does he have left? It's a fair question. He wasn't good as last year in Seattle when he won 10 games. 2, he had Mike McDonald, who's a Super Bowl winning head coach, and he had Pete Carroll before he was washed up. He was a Hall of Fame coach. That's the big difference. I mean, right now, Aaron Glenn's the worst coach in football until proven otherwise. People, how could you say, who are you taking Glenn over right now? Right? If we're being honest, Glenn is the 32nd best coach till proven otherwise. So that's the concern. Can he get better? Yeah, obviously he has to get better. He won't be here. Have they improved the talent? Is he going to improve the defense now with him over Wilkes? You'd think. But that's why not here? I mean, the Jets haven't won more than 7 games in 10 years. That's why. But Gino was on the team the last time that happened. He just wasn't the starting quarterback because he got punched out by his own teammate. Islip Jet fan checking in. Love the building of the trenches. Got to get an O lineman to help. GS, I believe that's G5. You mean Garrett Wilson? Remember that to help out GS. So Geno Smith. You mean? Okay, got to get an O lineman to help out Gino. Remember, Gino went the wrong way to the stage the night he got drafted. Go Jets. I don't even remember that. But Gino is back, baby. Eugene. Remember Gino beat the Falcons his rookie year on Monday Night Football? Headline of the Daily News the next day, a star is born. What people don't remember is that same exact headline was used with Mark Sanchez years prior. The Daily News thought they could pull a fast one by us. But I remember everything. All right? This is how crazy of a Jet fan I am. Anyone ever questions my Jet fan loyalty to this dog shit organization? Remember they had this headline for Sanchez after his first game in Houston and the Jets won? And then a couple of years later, a star is born. Same newspaper, same headline. Gino and Mark Sanchez. A star is born. I don't forget. Is Mark Sanchez going to rejoin the Jets now? Assuming he's not in prison, let's hope. Can he have some sort of role on the coaching staff as well? We're bringing everyone else back. All right, couple calls left. Then we'll get to the raffle, ladies and gentlemen. Last chance to enter. Signed Wayne Corbett jersey is on the line. Couple calls, and then we end this baby. Fibrows is next. Hello, Fibrows.
Hey, what's up, Jake? How you doing? Yo, the last call I had with you was funny. I was in the Key West, but the connection was so bad you couldn't really hear me. So my bad.
Didn't you say you got a tattoo of plankton? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I don't know if you could see it. I got it in the back of my neck.
It's a little pixelated. If you email me a photo, I'll do my best to show it on the show.
That'll be funny. Yeah, it's henna. It's fake. I was joking. I would never get a real tattoo. The guy I was with is hilarious. He was like, because I do a lot of work with him. I was working like crazy hours, and at the end of the day, he was like, "Yo, let me get you a tattoo, but you got to put it on your neck." So I was like, "Okay, yeah." But anyway, Anyway, I just want to say Gary got my vote. Shout out Wayne Corbett. Shout out Hofstra.
I didn't realize that game was tonight. I'm excited to watch Hofstra in action for a chance to go to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And then rest in peace, Matt Snell. My dad was in a house full of Giants fans watching the Super Bowl by himself, and that was like one of his core memories. So I always that's one of the reasons why I'm a Jets fan, because of my dad. So yeah, I guess, rest in peace to Matt Snell. And I think Geno Smith is the perfect bridge quarterback, man, for us. I think Chip Kelly was a shit offensive coordinator, and a lot of people forget about that. Like, Chip Kelly has been so bad as an OC in the NFL. He's literally like one of the biggest reasons. He's one of the biggest reasons why. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of offenses have failed with that guy. So I wouldn't blame everything on Geno. I think he's a good bridge quarterback. Geno's way better than he was as a rookie. He's improved a lot since the last time we've had him. So I don't necessarily hate him. Yeah, as far as the Nan Wright signing, the cornerback we got, that was a great signing. He had 5 times more of the amount of interceptions the Jets had all season, because the Jets had 0, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're more optimistic than I am, Five Bros. I don't know what to tell you. Good call. Carlos with a super chat. Geno is back. We will support Geno for sure. Who's the next veteran QB for the Jets? Carson Wentz? ? You never know. Thanks, Jay. Carlos, you're in the raffle for 2. All signs point to Wentz being the number 2, which I think would be a disaster. All right, it's one thing to sign Geno. All right, like, I understand the thought process. Not what I would have done, but I'm not going to go crazy over it. I don't think he's very good, but the other options also aren't very good, and I fully acknowledge that. But I don't know. Wentz, really? I'll do it for free. Well, not free. I'd like to get something out of it, but, it won't make that much of a difference. We both look similar. He's got me by several inches in the height department. How tall is Wentz? I mean, Wentz is like your prototypical, like, big size quarterback. Wentz is 6'5". Yeah, so he's got me a little bit there. But I'll do it. All right, almost raffle time. We are 3.5 hours in. For the first time today, we check in with this man.
Onion rings?
Is that what you got at the grocery store this morning, Beast?
Nah. Geno Smith? Really? Really? Why? Why? Tell me why. It's going to be a nauseating season of throw up and vomit all over the place. You know what? I might as well just say what Dorothy said from the Golden Girls. I can just vomit by looking at you. Ugh.
Is that dinner or is that an afternoon snack? What are we doing with these onion rings?
That's a wake up. Yeah, no, it's a wake up call. I just took a nap an hour ago.
So you really worked hard today, huh? You took a nap. You're eating some onion rings. Sounds like things are going well in Beast Enterprise.
No, the weather's changing. I'm feeling a sign for my back, and it's that cold weather's coming back for one more round before spring starts.
Now, have you ever thought about maybe if you took better care of your body, you'd have less back pain? Does that come across you?
Did you ever hear of 5G towers? Those things can take effect on a human's anatomy and also lower back. Yeah, that's what nobody knows about because nobody reads about that stuff. See, I'm known to I've been having back pain for a few years now because when you get older, pain kicks in. The pain kicks in even more.
Let me bring on my doctor. He could help you.
Women need to vacuum and shouldn't be allowed to vote. Yeah, ladies, you can do what
I think there may be something. Stop eating that. That's read the ingredients. On the back of that bag. Read the ingredients. I bet you can't pronounce most of them. It's disgusting. You're disgusting. I was actually going to agree with you. There may be something to this 5G thing. We can get into
in technology being injected into society and diseases breaking out, going all the way back to the radio wave and the microwave. Like, there might be something to what he's saying. You guys can laugh
5G
at all.
towers
There
are
might
the
be
most
something to what he's
destructive
saying. There
things that
might
they've
be
been
something
putting.
to that. There's a
No,
lot of evidence.
those
to
things could
suggest
cause
there
a
is.
variety of damage.
He might not be wrong.
Don't you,
But
did
none
you
of
read
it's
about
as
the
bad.
5G towers?
I'm agreeing with you to a degree. None of that's as bad as what you're putting in your mouth right now, though. That's doing the most damage. The reason why you look like that is because what's in that
This
bit.
is why I'm gonna kick your ass in the finals. And when I do, when I get to the finals and I meet you one-on-one,
I was
this
just
is gonna be the
saying
end.
there's
This is
something
gonna
to
be
what
the
you're
end.
saying.
This has been going on for 15 months. All this stuff that is
15 months.
eat up inside of me is because you just can't seem to grasp meanings of life. You like to take it out on autistic kids and autistic adults. Well, I hate to break it to you. I'm going after you. And I'm
Both of my boys are autistic. Both of my boys
Get
are
the
non-verbal
bullseye out because the
autistic.
bullseye's
What are you
on your
talking
head.
about? What is
Yo,
that? Like,
You think I got enough fucking problems? You think I got enough problems?
What are you trying to get sympathy? Like a female? Bro, act like a man. Shut up. Just shut your mouth.
Hey, get the dick out your mouth and pay attention, dumbass.
Like you act like a female, bro.
No,
Feel bad
This is
for
what
me,
you
guys.
don't
Everyone
get it.
have sympathy
You
for me.
are-
Bro, act like a man. Nobody cares.
Rammed up
Grow
your
up.
poodle.
Like, really,
You're too
grow
stupid
up.
to know any better. You're stupid.
Okay, awesome.
No. You're just a little troll, a little Siamese troll that looks like an ugly Chinaman with a bad
Yeah,
hair.
I'm not handsome like you. Look at that. Read the ingredients of what you're sticking in your fat mouth right now. Read the ingredients on it. You're disgusting. You disgust everybody.
You disgust me.
And then
You
I have
disgust
to
me, Gary.
And then I have to pay for your medical bills because you're
You
something
know what
that
your
you're
problem is? You know what your fucking problem is? You like to rip on people. You like hurting people. You say I'm taking your taxes. And
all you do is insult people. From the
you
moment Jake
now.
puts you on,
You-
you insult
you-
people.
you-
It's literally all you do. All you do is insult people. From the moment Jake puts you on,
bitch.
you insult
No,
people.
bitch.
That's all you do.
The only thing you insult is yourself because all you think of is yourself and your big mouth ego.
You came in here looking for sympathy.
your
You're a
ego's
42-year-old
so big.
man
Hey,
looking to get sympathy from other grown men. You're pathetic.
Size walls with the size of dildos and shit.
Look, all he does is insult people. From the moment Jake takes your call, the only thing you do is insult people. That's all you do.
You know what your problem is, Gary? You take too many shots upside the head and you're filled with dementia.
Look at what
Because
you're
I hate-
shoving in your
Let me tell you
mouth.
something about sex. Let me say this. Cold weather, I can take pain. You can't because you don't have no balls anymore. You're nothing but
You're just
squiggly,
complaining about your
squiggly
back. You said my
twisted.
back hurts. I can take pain. You're complaining about your
I've
back.
been doing this all my career. Unlike you, jerk off, you got no balls.
Okay.
You ain't got
maybe one day.
You're
Maybe one day I'll have balls like you.
On behalf of the Jake Asman Show, we apologize for the foul language.
Man, I was not expecting that to escalate the way it did. Unbelievable. Never know what's going to happen when Beast and Gary get in the ring. All right, one last call, then we spin the wheel of champions. So I'm counting Raffle names. So my last call just dropped off. It was going to be Rob from Glenhead, but he is no longer on the line. So I got to finish counting the names here. Let me get caught up on this comment here from this is my least. I don't even know the guy's name because YouTube changed the handle. This guy right here watches every piece of content I post and Joe Badingo posts, and all he does is write negative things about it because he's the biggest shill Jet fan to ever live. No matter what the opinion could be, it's always the Jets know exactly what they're doing. They're never wrong. This guy, I don't even know your name, Ja, whatever, but you are the absolute worst type of fan. You could tell Jake is all about not giving Gino a chance. What are you talking about? We opened the show saying, I hope I'm wrong and Gino plays great. I don't think he's very good anymore. I'm supposed to sit here and be gung-ho about Geno Smith? Get out of here. Find a new show. I will pay you to not watch my content anymore. You are one of the biggest fools to ever exist. You are among the dumbest people to consume this show, which is saying something if you've watched some of the interactions we have on said show. Farewell, goodbye, stop watching. I can't do it anymore. Don't ask Jet fans to blindly believe Geno Smith's going to be good. I hope he is. Be a great story. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm expecting Geno to be great or even good. He's thrown 32 picks the last 2 years. And now I got to watch Geno Smith again for another year? All right. I hope he has the Fitzpatrick year. That's what we've been talking about. Geno was on that team because he got hit by his own teammate because he was so immature that Fitz had to take over in the first place. Hope he's learned a lot from that. What I saw in Vegas, though, was a guy who wasn't very good. Yes, the situation sucked, and he still was flipping off fans in Vegas. That's not going to play in New York. I have a lot of concerns with this. Again, anyone they sign, they're available for a reason. There was no good answer, so I'm not going to lose sleep over Geno Smith. I don't think this team's going to be any good anyway because the head coach is the worst in football until proven otherwise. But, like, to act like I'm alone and don't represent how a lot of Jet fans feel that Geno Smith's not the answer. He's not any good. Like, come on. But that guy in particular, 1157 Ja, every comment from him is the same. And I always see him on Joe B's videos. It is so annoying. I'm rooting for Geno, man. I've been rooting for Geno since his rookie year when him and I had a high five of all high fives. Shout out to Omar in the raffle for one, the great Omar Ochoa. Add his name to my list here. Jeffrey Serena gifted not one but two memberships. Jeffrey, thank you. Really appreciate the gesture. More of your calls before we wrap this baby. Rob is called back in. He's today's closer.
Gator, where is my intro? I need a cool intro. I've been calling in, supporting Jake for over 4 years. You did intros for Papa Jet, and Adam is too cool. I'm worthy of an intro, Gator. I don't understand why I don't have an intro. You suck, Gator. You really suck.
Jake.
Rob.
Look at this view, buddy.
It's a beautiful day on Long Island.
Right, buddy? And you see that water right there? I'm getting ready to jump in. After this shit acquisition of Geno Smith. I am so rip-roaring mad that they did this, bro. I think he's going to be horrible. Horrible. He's not even on, like when he was on Seattle those couple of years that he looked good. He's on the downtrend right now. Why do you think they would get rid of him? I mean, Joe blew it to say, oh, best case scenario, he can win 7-8 games. This guy's not going to sniff 7 or 8 games unless if it's a combined 3 years. I mean, they got to be kidding me with this guy. I mean, this was the plan, Jake. This was Aaron Glenn's plan. Geno Smith. This was the plan.
Just wait till the Wentz signing, and then they got their ideal quarterback room. They can still take Simpson, though. I mean, that's still on play again.
I pray to God that they do, only because, not because I think he's going to be good this year or anything soon, but maybe something for the future when, like you said, we have a new head coach, not this buffoon who's running the team and a horrible owner that we have, jack-off owner that we have. But, I mean, Jake, when is enough enough? I'm close to boycotting this team. I don't think I could sit through 3 or 4 hours of Geno Smith.
Who did you want if not Geno, though, Rob? Because, again, no matter who they added, there was going to be a major question with any of those names.
Okay, but let me ask you a question, Jake. If they continue to make the moves that they made so far and signed to Kirk Cousins, wouldn't you be more positive of at least 6-7 wins, and we could at least be a little excited about the year heading in the right direction, at least minimum?
I would have preferred Kirk, but again, that
swallow
assumes
your
that he
pride.
wanted to.
Swallow your pride. He effed us 10 years ago, whatever it was. Who gives a shit? That was a long time ago. But you know what? This fan base is starving, Jake, to see decent play. And we're not getting it from Geno Smith. Anyone who thinks that, I think they need their head examined. Stop sniffing the glue or whatever you're doing. Because there's no way in hell that we're getting a great year from Geno Smith. I don't see it. I don't see it. And if I'm wrong, I'll come on and I'll say I'm wrong. I don't care. But I don't see it. And you know what? Stick to your guns, Jake. If that's what you feel, that's what you feel. Don't let anyone sway you that you're negative or you're positive. You go by your gut, what you think is right or wrong. And this smells really wrong. I'm sorry. It really does.
Yeah, it smells like a bridge for a year. Again, I don't know what quarterback they could have signed that would have really drastically changed my expectations of the team. I don't have belief in the head coach. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
If I felt great about the head coach, like Mike Tomlin could take the Jets team right now and go 9-8 with them with Geno Smith. He could do it. They don't have a good coach. That's the difference.
Well, but they really couldn't get Brissett. They know that for a fact that they can't get Brissett. Did they make a phone call? Anything?
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they called. Again, Brissett could still be in play for all we know. We don't know.
I hope so, man.
Let's see who the number 2 is.
Please, I don't want to go through it. It's so ironic, Jake, right now. Here we are. We wanted Mendoza, correct? Raiders get Mendoza, and what do we get? We get the scrapes that they just threw out.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not a fan of Geno, but like, there's no quarterback for them to take. Like, they
I think
can't.
it's horrible.
Unfortunately, it's a year where the options stink in the veteran market, and it is a 1 quarterback draft. Maybe Simpson could be in play, but he's not a foregone conclusion like Mendoza is to go in round 1.
Jake, we're looking at anywhere between 2 wins, maximum if everything spilled right, 5 wins. Max.
Then you know what? Give me the 2. I'd rather win 2 than 5.
I'm with you. Might as well, right? Might as well.
Again,
I didn't. Are we going to get Arch Manning
to live through? I don't know. We're going to get someone. There will be someone that will be available for them, and a new coach that will want the job with 3 wins and a chance to get his quarterback.
It's just, you know what pisses you off, Jake, more than anything? They delayed the process 1 year. This was the year where they could have dumped Aaron Glenn. Everyone would have understood. No one would have said, it was too early. Most people would have said, yeah, it was justifiable. He should have gotten canned. And how many coaches were out there that we could have taken? McDermott. You had what I call Brian Flores, as you were saying. You had the coach McCarthy. There was a lot. You would have gotten one of these guys as long as you paid them right. Maybe you got to pay a little more, but they would have gotten one of these guys, Jake. But no, we got to delay the process 1 more year and sit there, and us as a fan base has to suffer another year of ineptness with this guy. And it's not fair, Jake. It's not fair.
Rob, life ain't fair. Being a Jet fan ain't fair. It builds character. Super chat from Dark Knight Steve in the raffle for 2. Signing Geno is not a champion of offseason type of move, but it is what it is. You never know, but don't expect miracles. Amen. Let's hear a little from Geno. I'm counting raffle names right now, so I need a little time, but I promise you guys a little Eugene Smith. So Geno Smith did an interview with Josina Anderson. She's had a good relationship with Geno over the years. I remember that from Geno's Jet days. So here's a little Geno Smith talking about being a Jets.
Out of all teams, coming back to the green and white, how does it feel?
Oh, I'm so excited, Joe. I'm so excited. It's super like this full circle moment for me, honestly. Man, I can remember my last touchdown was to Quincy Enunwa, right there in MetLife Stadium. We're playing the Ravens. That day I tore my ACL, and that began my journey. And it all led me back here where it all started. And I thank God for the opportunity. I thank the Jets for the opportunity. Coach Glenn and I have been, on the phone, and he's got a real plan. I believe in what he and the GM and everyone over there is doing. They got a real plan, and they're ready to, kind of turn things around. And I just to be a part of that, I think it's going to be special. And I think it's kind of like a movie. It's kind of like a movie script.
That won't be used against the Jets. It's kind of like a movie. Yeah, the movie's going to be a nightmare unless Geno could turn it around. Eugene, baby. Eugene. All right, more from Geno here. Geno had a chance to seemingly stay with the Raiders in a mentor-like role, but chose to join the Jets. Here's more from Geno Smith. Last chance to enter the ASMANIAC raffle. We're going to spin the wheel shortly, plus vote in the Peter Castro versus Craig from Australia matchup. It's 51-49. This is the tightest ASMANIAC battle we've had thus far. Here's more from Geno.
Just through how this all unfolded.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, didn't work out for me with the Raiders. Wasn't my best year last year, and a lot of those things I take onus of, and I own it myself. And I knew that there would be a change being made. Potentially, could have probably stayed with the Raiders and in a mentor role, but where I'm at in my career, I really believe that I'm one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and I got to continue to go out there and prove it. And I wanted a team that was going to believe in me and going to have my back. And how ironic that it turned out to be the Jets. When I got a chance to speak with Coach Glenn, he laid out the plan for me. And from that point on, I knew that this is somewhere that I can consider. I had other options that I also considered, and really did some research on. And just after everything that I seen, and just praying and talking to my family, man, we felt like this was an opportunity. And to me, the opportunity is always what's most important. And to be back with the Jets, having this opportunity to lead this team, got DeMario back with me. We started together in New York, and a bunch of guys that are still there in the building that I was able to reconnect with just recently. So it's going to be a great thing. I'm super excited. I'm really, really excited to get in touch with the fan base and reconnect with the fan base and the community. Get to meet my teammates, connect with my teammates, build a bond there, and just be there for the guys. And then ultimately, learning from my coaches and, being a part of, the Jets organization again. I'm super excited for it.
So again, that courtesy of Josina Anderson's interview there with Gino. He's certainly confident. I don't think Geno Smith is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but I've never wanted to be more wrong, Gino. Give me a high five for old time's sake. Man, I hope Gino has the storybook ending that he's talking about there. It's like a movie. Well, hopefully it's not a nightmare. Hopefully it's not, a horror show. I don't like scary movies. Kath March says, so he'll be the number one quarterback, or we'll be doing a competition. And if they sign Wentz, he's the number one quarterback, Kath. Love your profile icon. That you repping an Asmaniac shirt, it looks like? I can't tell. Or is that a hat? Appreciate the support. I think he's going to be the starting quarterback. I mean, all the reporting was the Jets wanted to get their QB1 in place before they moved to QB2. Well, they got QB1. It's Gino. It is pretty cool that he's talking about, I got DeMario back with me. DeMario Davis came in a year after Geno Smith. Because Mike Tannenbaum drafted, or DeMario Davis came in a year before Geno Smith, because Geno was 2013. Tannenbaum's last draft was 2012. Tannenbaum drafted Davis. And Geno was the 2013 class. That was Isaac. Oh, shit. I'm not going anywhere, folks. Excuse my language. 50-50 in Asmaniac Madness. Oh, my goodness. Vote, vote, vote. This thing's coming down to the wire. We'll spin the wheel first. The raffle will be spun right after this short word from the Gary Show.
Welcome to my new show, No Ma'am. I'm Gary 3D Boxing, your host. If you believe only men should vote, women should make babies, and men make money, that the best gift to give your wife is a vacuum cleaner or a treadmill, then you're in the right place. Remember, the best quality is inequality. All right, first topic of the night. History lesson, fellas. How did the ladies scrub down those pyramids back in ancient Egypt? Let's pull some answers. Chat's already firing off. Camel spit and determination. I see you. We've got Big Rick from Tucson on the line. Rick, what's up?
Yeah.
Palm fronds and vinegar water, he says. That's old. Okay, Asmaniacs, extraordinary show tonight. Extraordinary. And look, if you vote for me, the community will know that you're a misogynistic psychopath. Keep that in mind. I'll see you next week. Keep your guard up.
Vote, vote, vote. Peter Castro, Craig from Australia. We are back. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the Wheel of Champions first. We have a Wayne Corbett signed jersey to raffle away. Before we get to the jersey raffle, we bring on the master of raffle ceremony.
And now it's time to spin the 2026 Wheel of Champions.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
So epic, so great. It's Wayne Corbett, and it's a signed jersey. by one of the all-time great Jets. If you win, you have to email me, asmanjake@gmail.com, your name and address so we know where to send it to. Ladies and gentlemen, one spin to determine the winner. This encapsulates everyone who entered on the first stream today and our breaking news, Gino's a Jet live stream we've been doing this afternoon. Good luck to all, but only one can win. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Corbett jersey is Mike Duramo. Let's go. The man who's designing the ASMANIAC Madness trophy has just won a signed Wayne Corbett jersey. Hit it, John Gruden.
It's J-E-T-S, Jets. I love Fireman Ed, too.
Congrats to Mike. He's super talented. The logo we're using for ASMANIAC Madness, that was designed by Mike. So Mike, a longtime viewer of the show, sent me this nice little display for ASMANIAC Madness I proudly have in front of me. He's the winner of the signed Wayne Corbett jersey. So congratulations to Mr. Duramo. Certainly well-deserved. Everyone give some love to Mike in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, we might need overtime in the Peter Castro versus Craig from Australia battle. I'm going to end the poll. And since I don't have exact percentage points, we're going to see right now who the winner is for this ASMANIAC Madness matchup. Again, it's Craig. It's Peter. We've heard from both throughout the duration of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, only one ASMANIAC can advance, and voting is officially closed.
ASMANIAC Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
I just ended the poll, and it looks like Peter Castro's your winner, 51-49, with 1.1K votes that have been cast. It does not tell me the exact number, so I don't know how close it truly was, but this was quite the battle. It was 50-50 going into the raffle, and some late votes came in for Peter Castro. So Castro defeats Craig from Australia, two of the great ASMANIACs going at it, and it's Peter Castro winning 51-49 in the vote. He advances to the round of 32, and he will take on David T in that matchup. Here's your look at the inside-outside region. We'll update the graphics, of course, later this week. But we'll have Castro and David T in the round of 32. And then tomorrow, Ricky NY and Jets Johnny in the morning. Lane Train, Lane Kerner and Jams in the afternoon. So your look at the morning matchup. There it is on the screen, the 6-11, Ricky versus Jets Johnny. Your look at the 7-10 in the afternoon tomorrow. It is Chef Kevin and the Hamburger going at it in the inside-outside region round of 64. What a show. Thank you to my two guests, Will Parkinson and Joe Blewett. Nearly 4 hours of Geno Smith talk. We'll have plenty more to react to tomorrow on the show. God, we got a lot to cover. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate all of you guys. Best fans in sports. We spent 4 hours talking about Geno Smith, for crying out loud. That's when you know this fan base is special. Like the video and subscribe if you haven't. Join my Patreon if you want your name added to the intro. If you want to get bonus perks, Discord access, it's patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. That is the best way to support what we have going on here as a channel. Geno Smith is back, is a star reborn. Let's hope. Until then, I'll talk to you guys soon. Jets, 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 Jets. Take it away, Fireman Ed.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.